Go. Go, 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 go. Welcome into the Rant. I am Pugs Moran. We do this every day live from the Kelly Moore North Memorial Studios in beautiful Burbank, Illinois. Hold on. I'm not sure if that's not loud enough because it's not loud enough in my headphones. Well, the meters look all right. There's a little hotter. Oh, man, the crowd is big today. Hi, everybody. Talk for normal people. We do this every day, round about the noon o'clock hour, since 2021. That's right. I call it an exercise in rampant delusional narcissism. That's it. Just a middle-aged white man screaming at the clouds. Ain't nobody want to hear from me. We do a show here for what I like to call the reasonable middle. We all know about the fringes in 2026. We've got the crazy right. I say 15%. There's, that number could change. I don't know, but there's about 50. I think it might be even, I think some of the crazy 15, I think maybe they're wisening up. Wisening up. Is that a word? I don't know. We make up words on this show. So you got 15% on the right. They're nuts. They got a closet full of T-shirts with the orange pumpkin on it, and they got hats, and they go and they stand in line for like you would stand in line for a concert you really wanted to see, but they're just like watching a guy in a suit yell about, inconveniences. That's what they do. They're crazy. That's 15 on the right. We can't do anything with them. If they didn't have MAGA and all that nuttiness, they would just be into something else that's really fucking weird, right? So we can't do anything. We need to write them off. We need to write off 15% of the country. 15%, those people I just described. But we're not done, gang, because we got a whole nother 15% on the left that we also need to write off, right? These are the people that think that, RuPaul should be able to box your daughter, right? I mean, these are people who are, they destroy people's Teslas when they see them in parking lots because Elon Musk, right? These people, those are the crazy 15 on the opposite side. They're done for. We can't deal with them anymore either. Maybe we take this 15 on the right and this 15 on the left. Maybe we give them Greenland. Is that an idea? We let both tribes, right and left, go and just kind of hash out their differences in Greenland. I think we've got something. This is why I'm seriously considering running for emperor of the world, because that's the kind of ideas that you get here. All right, so what does that leave us? 15 on the right gone, 15 on the left gone. That leaves us, everybody. That leaves us, the 70% of people here in this country who can still do business with one another, who don't give a shit about how you voted. If we have good interpersonal skills, you can be my friend. That's who we are. We can still do business together. Been doing a show for that specific group of people since 2021. Every day at noon. We call it the Rant, and I'm Pugs. And there you go. You're all caught up. Got to get the chat room up. Let me say hi to my chatters. Who are my people in the chat room? Let's start off. First person I saw today was Tyranda, followed by Maddie and Leslie and Tyranda again. And Barney's here, and Mikey D is here, and April's here, and Jen's here. All right, now I got to hold on. Hey, there's more. I just got to... Yeah. Anyway, everybody's here. Come one, come all. Here we go. All right. We're going to come in hot. I got to start with something, right? There's a lot of stuff that I want to start with just because there's a bunch of things going on right now and I get easily distracted. We're going to talk about a whole bunch. Don't worry. We'll get into Greenland. We'll get into Davos. We'll get into, Bovino. We're going to talk about Bovino, this guy. Woo, he is taking a beating. The left has really figured out the one avenue that truly seems to hurt the MAGA crowd, and that is taking somebody, typically a guy, well, not typically, always a guy, taking an alpha MAGA guy and just either, Saturday Night Live started it. Saturday Night Live kind of hit on this thing. When you remember Sean Spicer, the original spokesperson for the White House back in 2016, and he was like, it was the largest crowd ever. Remember that guy? Saturday Night Live cast Melissa McCarthy, a woman, to play this guy. And it became a big hit, became a bit of a national phenomenon back then. Melissa McCarthy's very funny. She was very funny as Sean Spicer. But it apparently really caused some problems with the relationship between Donald Trump and Sean Spicer, because apparently Donald Trump didn't like that his male people were being impersonated by female comedians. He felt it to be very non-manly. So ever since then, it's like, that's how you, I mean, Saturday Night Live had who's the chick whose name I can never remember. It's a real Jewish name, little girl. She does gross out comedy. She plays Giuliani. You know, they got women playing. Anyway, it's always been a thing to like take this symbol of MAGA alpha and just relentlessly feminize it. It seems to be something that hurts them. They're doing that with Bovino. The Bovino looks like an old lesbian lady is a trend that's pretty funny, and it's undeniable. He does. I posted that Bovino, he's the head of the American SS that's up there, you know, fucking with people in Minneapolis. Bovino walking around in his, you know, Himmler jacket, his Nazi. He had a specifically designed jacket in the style of Nazi shock troop officers. And that happened. I don't know what to say. That happened. He's leaning into it, I guess. He's leaning into the bad guy thing. Good for him. Anyway, Bovino's in the news today because he's being feminized all over. And it's accurate. He does. He looks like a guy who's a pussy who is just trying so hard to not be a pussy. Anyway, we got a whole bunch of stuff on Bovino we got to get to. Bovino. What else do we have? We got snow coming in Texas. Got to prepare y'all for the ice. Got to prepare. You need to be prepared for the ice, guys. You guys got something coming. It looks serious. I've been watching it, talking to my son. He's very excited because he's already been through a snowstorm. He was up here in Chicago when we had a little mini blizzard. So he's like used to it. And so now he feels like he's like the chief in charge down there. This is nothing for me. This is my second blizzard of the winter. You know, he's running around like that. So we're watching it as it's coming through Texas. Dallas-Fort Worth in particular looks, to my eye, like you guys are going to have some trouble. Why? It's not that it's a significant amount of snow that's going to fall, but again, there just isn't the infrastructure in southern cities to deal with that. So the plan usually in these southern cities is just cross your fingers and hope everybody stays home. There you go. So that's coming. It's okay, though, because, you know, your authorities are all there. Oh, what's that? Ted Cruz went to fucking California? Ted Cruz got on a plane and went to... They say he's coming back before the storm. We'll see. Don't think for a minute we won't be monitoring that, whether or not Ted Cruz actually... Oh, I had to stay in California, Southern California over the weekend because my flight got canceled because of the bad weather. Son of a bitch, you knew you were flying out in bad weather. You planned this. Old Cancun Ted doing it again. You don't need to deal with that. He's got precious all-American Cuban blood by way of Canada. He's more American than... Yeah, he can't handle that weather. He's a brown... He's one of them brown people that they don't like, but, you know, apparently he's acceptable brown. So we'll talk about that. We got the Oscar nominations. We're not going to go through the whole list, but we will go through the movies. Still haven't seen Marty Supreme. I'm going to need my friend who provides me with access to films that, you know, are in theaters and stuff. I'm going to need my friend to provide me with a copy of Marty Supreme. I would really like to see that. So we'll go through the Oscar list. There's a whole bunch more stuff too. What, you know, let me jump in. Let me see what else we got. I got to tell you about this. I fell into a hole yesterday because there's a meme. Or is it meme? I don't know. I think it should be meme, but I think it's meme. My whole life, you know, the first time, 2002? I don't know, the first time that word was used. First time that word was used, I looked at it as it was written, and I think I called it a meme. And I can't not call it a meme now. It's a meme. People are like, you mean meme? Yes, fuck you. I was there. I was ground zero. I saw it written, and I didn't know how it was pronounced, and now I'm just going with it. Anyway, we've got a meme that's out there now of, hold on, excuse me. Got a little bit of a, I'm still sick, guys. I'm really trying to push through this thing here. Where is it? I can't find it. I can't find the meme that I was looking for. Nah, it doesn't matter. Never mind. We're going to talk about the dangers of AI at some point today because there is an AI video out there, and I watched it last night, and I loved it. And then I found out that it was AI. And then I felt really, I mean, there was a noticeable drop in my, what do we call it, serotonin or whatever. So I want to talk about the experience that I had last night with AI. And I've got now some thoughts on why I think AI is the devil. It is going to be the end of all of us. I was a little high last night and this happened, and I'm like, I should write these thoughts down. So I did. So we'll get into that. My high thoughts on AI. But first, I want to show you something. Where is it? Do I not have it? Yeah, all right, here it is. All right, I want to show you this. I'm coming in hot a little bit here because I just saw this just before we went on, right? All right. So we see this is a post from Elon Musk. I just saw it. I don't know when he posted it. He may have posted it like days ago or whatever. Nobody has the clearance on Twitter that Elon Musk has. Everybody sees every one of his little fucking mind farts. I would think that the world's wealthiest and most powerful person, most influential too, I might argue, you would think that he might be a little dialed back and, cognizant of what his tweets, could do, the ripple effects and what, but you don't care. Well, he's closing in on like $900 billion. He doesn't give a fuck if the stock market crashes. $900 billion. He owns the fucking stock market. This is something that he tweeted, and it's another one of these reasons why I keep saying that I am leaving Twitter for Blue Sky. I can't. I'm addicted to it. It's like heroin. I keep coming back to Twitter. I am spending more time on Blue Sky. By the way, find me on Blue Sky at Pugs Moran. But here's an example, something that Elon Musk tweeted, let's say today. Elon Musk, the world's wealthiest and most powerful man, decided to use his own platform and basically show this to everybody because everybody gets access to Elon's tweets because Elon. That's how it's set up. Elon Musk tweeted today, whites. First of all, bad start. Terrible fucking start. A terribly divisive start in a time when we don't need this. Elon Musk, the world's wealthiest and most influential man, tweets, whites are a rapidly dying minority. Cool. I'm not going to argue about whether that's true or not. I'm just fucking ignoring that, okay? I'm ignoring the sentiment of Elon Musk, the world's wealthiest and most influential man, taking the time out of what most of us assume is a very busy day to put this out into the world. Elon Musk, whites are a rapidly dying minority. Now, this isn't new. This isn't a one-off. This is, as I say, one of the reasons why I'm just getting off this fucking platform, because I can see what's happening on this platform. People who are addicted to Twitter are being radicalized by a worldview slowly and incrementally that is designed to keep us at each other's throats. And from the beginning of this show, I've been saying that this is not about right or left. It's about the middle. It's about not being divided. It's about us. The 70% of Americans who can do business together are the most powerful monolith in this country. And yet we don't seem to go together very well. We don't seem to, we don't seem to recognize how powerful we are. And why is that? It's because there has always been a plan by the people at the very top. Call them what you want. 1% is a trigger word or whatever. The elites, that's a favorite word that the conservatives used to, hang on to. Whatever you want to call them. But the plan for the people who are better than us, and yeah, I'll use the words as if they're speaking. The plan has always been from the people who are better than us to keep us, the peasants, at each other's throats. Always the 1% has been stoking a race war. That's what this is. That's what Elon Musk is doing right now. He's not calling. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to try and use my words properly. He's not out here calling for a race war with this post. Elon Musk posting, whites are a rapidly dying minority. He's not calling for it. What he's doing is he's just normalizing the idea that whites have a position to be angry at people who are non-whites. People who are non-whites who make the same money as them and live in adjacent neighborhoods to them and have the same struggles as a working class American. Yes, but the difference is that they're non-whites. And this is the most powerful man in the world. And again, the plan is always to keep us divided. Their plan for us is to keep us at each other's throats and looking at them for all the answers. That's neither freedom nor liberty. Okay? That is an indentured servitude type situation that has been quietly set up in this country for the last 100 years. Ever since the Industrial Revolution, that has been the slow-moving plan, and that's where we are. But they have kept us comfortable enough that we don't really question anything. And when I say they've kept us comfortable enough, it was always the majority white working class. But what happens when the majority white working class starts having problems, starts having struggles paying their bills, trying to take a second job because, their daughter needs to go off to college? What happens when the middle class white, the working class whites, well, it ain't the fault of the decisions of the bosses who have been controlling things. No, it's the fault of that black guy who works on the other line in the mill. Understand that their goal here is to create a race war because they are desperately fearful of a class war. The class war is what they know is the obvious reaction to the way they've been treating us. A class war like the French Revolution is what haunts these people. So at every turn, some guy in a $10,000 suit with a position of authority will get up in front of a crowd and say these things, whether they're called dog whistles or whatever. Elon Musk, the most powerful man in the world, going out of his way with his delicate and sensitive time, right? He's so busy. He's doing so many things. He's changing the world. He's colonizing Mars. He has time to stoke division of the peasant class. Fucking pay attention. Pay attention to what Elon Musk is getting into now. Class division. They are desperately afraid of a class war. So they want a race war. That's what they want. They want to sit up in their ivory towers and watch us burn each other's neighborhoods down because they've got us all stoked up and pissed at each other. The white man angry at the brown man, the black man angry at the yellow man, whatever it is. The dirty papist Catholic angry at the Jesus-hating Jew, whatever it is. That's their plan. And Elon Musk ain't hiding it, man. He ain't even coming close to hiding it anymore. Why? Because these people over the last few years have realized that they don't have to be subtle. That they don't have to do nuanced bigotry and racism. That they can just come straight fucking out and people would be like, yeah, okay. We're numb, man. We're numb because as a country, as a people, even the working class has been kept, at least to our best assumption, the working class has been kept, we have shelter, we have food, it's hard to pay our bills and all of that. We haven't really struggled. But I think that that's changing. I think that the working class is about to be absolutely decimated in the next 5 years. And that's what I think this plan is about. I think the working class, I think the rich people, I think the elitists are for the first time really looking at what they've wrought and going, holy shit, this whole place is going to go up in flames. Let's make sure that when they figure it out, they don't come for us, that they come for each other. And that is exactly what Elon Musk is doing. So take notes. All right. Just fucking Jesus Christ, these people. Seriously? Like he can't be optimistic. He's got to be divisive. Whites! Shut the fuck up, man. Yesterday, I played audio of him advising people to stay where they're from. Said the white African who walks around with American citizenship. Smarten up, people. Jesus, if you think they took out Charlie Kirk, just think what they'll do to somebody who's putting that message out there. Not me, because I've got fucking 12 listeners. Well, maybe that's why the left doesn't speak up. Maybe that's why there is no content. Although, pointing to Charlie Kirk again, what did he do wrong? I don't know. I'm not a QAnon guy. I haven't really delved into the what did Charlie Kirk do to deserve to be killed by the people who... Maddie is in the chat room. Of course she is. She's one of our most ardent and faithful chatters. Maddie says, Elon doesn't understand societal norms or subtleties because he's an alien. Well, I don't, Here's what I would say to that, Maddie. And Maddie hasn't been with us long enough to really understand that. Maddie, as an alien, I can tell you I've never seen Elon at any of the meetings. I have not seen him at any of our meetings. So no, I don't think he's an alien. I think that he is the end result of the absolute worst environment for a child to be nurtured in. He grew up in an apartheid state with a complete madman of a father who was also super fucking rich, owned a diamond mine. And then timing being what it was, Elon's not a genius. Elon's a guy who benefited from timing. And I love Mark Cuban, but everybody's like, Mark Cuban's a genius. I'm like, no, he's not. He's just a guy who wanted to listen to Indiana basketball games from Dallas. And he figured out a way to do it on his computer. He's like, I'm listening to Indiana basketball games. And then somebody's like, hey, I bet other people would like to do that. And then broadcast.com was born. I mean, it's just timing. That's all Elon was. PayPal, X, whatever the payment system was. That was going to happen. That was going to fucking happen. Somebody was going to figure that out. And he did, and his team did. And now he's the smartest man to ever live. He bought Tesla. I mean, he didn't create Tesla from whole cloth. That was a company that was already in existence. He just took it over. Yeah, anyway, whatever. Barney's got a theory. Barney is our QAnon correspondent. He delves deep into the things so that we don't have to. Barney says Kirk was killed by a gay furry. There's no grand conspiracy. All right. That's not exactly the payoff I was looking for when I said that he's our QAnon conspiracist correspondent, but okay. What is this? Maddie also says, ChatGPT says he's a Zarthon. Well, that's funny. That's funny, and I like it. Hold on. Barney, I'm going to give you a second here. Are you talking about Elon Musk here? I'm going to give you a second to respond, because if you're not talking about Elon Musk here, then I'm going to hold back on my freak out. Because if you're talking about Elon Musk and you're making excuses for Elon Musk, so again, he's doing what he can to make his family comfortable. I hope to God you're not fucking talking about Elon. Which family you're talking about? Which one of the many pods that he has spread out around the... What are you fucking talking about? He's worth $800 million. He's about to be the first trillionaire. His families. Family is gonna be okay, Barney. Oh, Cruz. All right. Thank you, Barney. Barney says he's talking about Cruz. All right. Thank you, Barney. Thank you, Barney, because I know that you weren't talking about Elon, just trying to take care of his family. And I do get the Cruz joke. I love it. All right. So that's enough of that. I just, I don't. It just triggered me from the very start of the show. Hot out of the box. That's a new segment, maybe. Maybe a new segment, hot out of the box. The thing that's just got me raging from the very start. And now we can calm down and do a normal show. Here. So, yeah, I was talking about this. There's a meme, whatever you call it. There's a meme that is going around. And it is the other day, a couple of days ago. All right, I'll backtrack even further. Last week, I hipped my son, my 16-year-old son, to the magic of Techno Viking. Techno Viking was in 2000. It was a dude at a street festival in Berlin, I think. It's a dude, and he looks like a Viking. He's dressed like a Viking. He's even wearing like Viking religious jewelry around his neck. He looks like a Viking. And again, he's at this street party. And at this street party, apparently he's like the man. Like nobody fucks with the Viking, right? And some dude comes running into a group of girls and apparently like grabs a girl inappropriately. And this is all in the viral video, which is credited as being the first great viral video to go over 1 million hits or something. Again, it was 2001. I think the viral video was released in 2004, but the video itself is from 2001. So in the video, some dude gets pushed into this crowd of girls and he does something to one of the girls, and Techno Viking rises up. And the Techno Viking grabs this guy and he's like, "You, sir, you are banished from dance party." And like he kicks him out. And then some Smithers type dude comes running up to the Techno Viking and hands him an inverted bottle of water. Yeah, I never hand people water right side up. Haven't. Ever since I saw this video, if you get a bottle of water from me, I am giving it to you inverted in tribute to the Techno Viking. Just the way everybody should hand water to people, inverted, like you're a gerbil. You know? like a human gerbil. Anyway, he gets the water, right? He's just regulated the grab ass guy. He's got the grab ass guy out of the dance party, and now Smithers comes with some water because he's vanquished the bad guy, and he drinks the water, and then just out of fucking nowhere, the Techno Viking just goes for it, man. You know, he's it's the greatest video you ever saw. So I hipped my son to that a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, "Do you know the Techno Viking?" And he's like, "Dude, Techno Viking's pretty cool." I go, "Yes, he is. See, not everything that happened before your time is lame." So they made, because of the whole Greenland thing and our problem with Daneland and all of that nonsense or whatever, they made a version of the Techno Viking that is just, I saw last night and I love it. This is, I'm going to talk about the dangers of AI or whatever the hell that is. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what the difference is between, whatever they did here in this video and what AI is, but let's just call it the same thing because I'm a middle-aged man. Yeah, they took that J.D. Vance characterization, which again harkens back to what we talked about yesterday. Remember yesterday when I was talking about the Texas Senate race and about how the DNC needs to throw their arms around Tallarico before the right has an opportunity to brand him as a fool. The right is very good at branding people long before they get to the national stage. They seem to have a whole team of people who point out rising stars in the opposition party and then get them on Fox News, or not get them on Fox News, but then start talking about them on Fox News like they're evil. They destroy people in the opposition party before they rise. Well, this is an example of the other side. This is the left doing that to J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance has been absolutely branded as this guy. To my son, 16 years old, when he pictures J.D. Vance, he pictures this guy, this version, this leftist branding of J.D. Vance. It works both ways. Like, I don't even know where this came from. Because it's J.D. Vance's face on a dude with a perm and a beard. I don't even know what the origin of it is. I just think it's so funny. Anyway, they took J.D. Vance and they made him the Techno Viking. All right, that's amazing. So there are some good things. Yeah. J.D. Vance says the Techno Viking. Here, you know what? Why not? Show you, I found the original Techno Viking. This is the original Techno Viking. This is what I think is the greatest thing that's ever been on the internet. It's just me. It's just, this is the full video. We'll get to see him regulate the dude. We'll get to see, just notice the respect that the Techno Viking commands in this environment. I always say, people, we feel powerless, and that's one of the reasons for the bitterness that a lot of, especially middle-aged men, have. They feel powerless in their life. Don't ever feel powerless in your life. You can feel powerless from a 30,000-foot view, but man, in your own personal universe, that's where you can be king. You can be a king in your own. You do not have to go through life thinking that you are absolutely powerless. Well, I would hope you would be a benevolent king. But in your universe, in your work, in your job place, at the 7-Eleven, when you walk into the 7-Eleven every morning and it's the same group of people and it's, hi, Raji, or whatever it is, that becomes your personal universe. You could be a king in that universe. You could be the coolest fucking guy in that universe if you choose. You don't have to be bummed out. To that point, the Techno Viking is quite obviously the king of his universe. And his universe in this moment is this dance party in 2001, this street dance party, and he owns it. He is the king of the dance party. All right, here we go. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn the music down because I think that interferes with my breakdown. All right, so here we go. This is the original Techno Viking video. I should give you some background on this. What is this? There was a German experimental filmmaker who was just shooting scenes at a street fair in Berlin. Okay, he's just randomly shooting things. He probably shot hours and hours and hours worth of footage, but within those hours and hours worth of footage came this interaction between the Techno Viking and a man who, I don't know, touched a girl in the wrong way. And I think it might be this blue-haired girl with red pants. Again, red pants. I've always wanted to wear red pants. I can't. I'm going to look like Santa if I do. Anyway, think of the fashion choice that she made. This is 2000. She's already got blue hair like some 16-year-old gamer in 2026. Anyway. All right, so let's watch. Here we go. Break it down. So see him? See that guy? Okay, so that guy runs in and kind of like shoves her. But oh man, he did it in front of the Techno Viking who is right here. All right, I love this. Look at the command Techno Viking has. Look at the guy who bursts in. He's got his tank top. He probably thinks he's a bad guy, tough guy, right? And all that shit. Look at the way he cowers in the presence of the Techno Viking. Shoves her. Hey, you must stop. He's trying to walk away. Techno Viking won't let him. And he's not fighting to get away because he knows if I fight to get away from the Techno Viking, it'll just be worse for me. He's pointing. He's like, I'm going to my friend over there. He's like, no, you don't point. You go back the way you came. You don't go to your friend. Look at this badass. You don't come back here. This is so badass. He is so bad. He is so in charge of his personal universe right now. I don't even know who this dude is. I don't know if he's with him. Is he part of the Techno Viking posse? He seems to be, because Techno Viking takes water from him like it's expected. Like, yes, your job at the parade today is you're going to give me water when I need water. Well, how am I going to know when you need water? Well, you're just going to have to pay that close attention to me. So watch. Inverted. There you go. That's how you hand people water. Look at Techno Viking. You know he's still mean mugging that guy from like 10 seconds earlier. He's just making sure that guy understands. This guy gives no fucks. He's living his life. Oh, what? He dances like a queer? Go ahead. You tell him he dances like a queer. You tell him he looks silly dancing like that. That's the motherfucking Techno Viking. He's the best. Come on. He's the best. Might be the coolest guy on the face of the earth, and I'll tell you why. The backstory on him. You want to know why we don't know who the Techno Viking is? Because the Techno Viking don't want to be fucking famous. There were court cases about that video. Nobody knows Techno Viking's name. There are a lot of people who think they do. You could fall into some bunny holes online, and they'll be like, no, he's a doorman at this car, or whatever. Whatever he is, he's 26 years older than he was in that video. Techno Viking, again, that was shot in 2000. The video wasn't uploaded until like 2004, 2005 in the early days of YouTube. It immediately went bonkers. And the guy who took the video, the filmmaker, the experimental filmmaker, he started to make a little money off of it through, YouTube ad sales and all that kind of stuff. And he started to make some, he sold t-shirts, Techno Viking imaging and all that kind of stuff. So what about the real Techno Viking? So he's just a dude who doesn't want to be famous, who didn't like that this went viral, refuses to give interviews about it. But what he did do was he got a lawyer and they sued the experimental filmmaker, and the Techno Viking won, like, I think $13,000 US, $13,000 from the sale of t-shirts and stuff like that. And he's still out there somewhere out there. The Techno Viking still lives. Doesn't want to be famous. Doesn't want to be doing that. Do you know what the Techno Viking podcast would be? It'd be huge. Anyway, they brought the Techno Viking back because of JD Vance, and it's awesome. So, there you go. All right, good times. Yeah, he does. Everything about that guy. I'm not even gay, but if, like, I was taken captive by his, band of warriors or berserkers or whatever, and he like ended up like, doing what Vikings did to people that they took, I'd be like, well, he's at least really cool. If I got to be raped by a barbarian, at least he's cool. At least we know he does the right thing when it comes to, women being, shoved around by men. We know that. He's a gentle rapist. All right, let's not get into what Vikings did to people, but let's talk about, let's see, big news today. What's happening here? Jack Smith. Jack Smith is out there. He's testifying in front of, I don't know, somebody. It's all just a charade. I don't give a shit. Jack Smith is the guy that was doing the investigation into Trump and all the shit that he did. And, well, here's what I would say to Jack Smith. Should have gone faster. You should have gone faster, man. This fucking guy took his time on the Trump investigation, and unfortunately, Trump became president during the investigation. So, of course, we know the right thing in that situation is to just end the investigation and just forget about everything that was found out, because the guy's president now. And if the president hey, I think Ted Bundy probably should have ran for president. Do you know how popular Ted Bundy was? When Ted Bundy was on trial, oh my God, he would have gotten the soccer mom vote. He would have done really well. Ted Bundy, if he was on trial while presidential election was going on and he became president, we would have had to just let him go. You just got to let him go. Your crimes. So, now there's, because the guy that was being investigated became the guy sitting in the throne. Now, of course, there's an investigation into the investigation, which is... First of all, Jack Smith is not a political operative. Jack Smith is a legal bureaucrat, okay? He's been around for years. He's worked for all different administrations, but okay. So the investigation into the investigators led to Jack Smith now being called to testify in front of Congress today about all the shit that he found out about Trump. And I'm sure there's a whole bunch of it. And he got up in his opening statement. He was very angry, and he should be. And now it's all just a dog and pony show. You got your liberal Democrats up there going, you, sir, should have schools named after you. And then, of course, it'll go to the next person who's a Republican, and they'll be like, I'd be surprised if you don't end up in handcuffs after this day, sir. It's like that whole fucking thing. There's no truth. There's no middle ground. There's no conversation. It's just everybody dug in with fucking no man's land between them. And it's... So ignore the whole Jack Smith nonsense that is going on. Ignore it today. I guess CNN's still doing live coverage. They were earlier. I was just like, I've had enough of this. This is if our government, if our Congress, especially our Congress, if our Congress or our representatives or our senators are involved in anything that is an immediate tune-out for me, there is no truth ever to be found when those people are involved, at least till further notice, okay? So that's what's going on with Jack Smith. I'm sure you can find all kinds of things. I'm sure there's all kinds of reporting. I choose not to engage with that. Political dog and pony show going on so that everybody can get their appropriate sound clips out. I've got a 5-second clip. I can't wait to say it. It's going to go viral. Oh, good for you. Good for you. Greenland's in the news. Why we make a deal with Greenland? What is going on with Greenland? Let me see here. I've chosen to read about Greenland from a story. My choices were NBC News, CNN, New York Times, or BBC. We will be reading from the BBC about the deal in Greenland. Why do I choose to read international newspapers' views of these things? Because they're not beholden to any of the bullshit of American politics. So here we go. Here's how the BBC is reporting what we know about Trump's framework for a future deal in Greenland. All right, here we go. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced there is a framework of a future deal with respect to Greenland. All right, let's start out here. The announcement of a future deal is not the announcement of a deal, especially when it comes out of the mouth of this guy. This guy needs there to be some semblance of progress, because otherwise then this has all just been a bunch of unnecessary nonsense. So he gets up after a meeting with this Hackett guy. What's his name? Mark Hack, whoever the guy is that's in charge of NATO. He's some Dutch dude. He's not an American, he's a Dutch dude. So Trump has a meeting with this guy and then comes out of the meeting and he says, we got framework of a future deal. Okay, nobody should be applauding that because that means absolutely nothing. Wednesday's statement came as a surprise after days and weeks of mounting tensions, even a threat to use military force to seize the semi-autonomous territory of NATO ally Denmark. So what could this deal entail, and will it be acceptable to Denmark and Greenland? So they haven't even presented it to them yet. It's just, me and NATO, you haven't talked to Daneland, you haven't talked to Greenland, whatever. He's always trying to get points on the board no matter what. So what could this deal entail? Will it be acceptable to Denmark and Greenland, both of which have made it clear that they will not relinquish any sovereignty over the world's largest island? Is that true? Greenland is the world's largest island? What has been said about the framework deal? Here you go. President Trump made the announcement after talks at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Here's a quote now. It says, based upon a very productive meeting that I have had with the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, we have formed the framework of a future deal with respect to Greenland, he said. He did not give details, but said talks would continue to reach the agreement. Wow. Is that a salesman sentence right there? I can't give you any details, but talks are continuing to reach agreement. Break that fucking sentence down. He's not telling you anything. He is telling you that we've reached a framework of a deal. He's hoping that you hear we've reached a deal. But he's not saying that. What he is saying here is that he's not going to give any details about the framework for the deal. He's not going to give any details, but just so you know, we're still discussing how we reached the agreement. So you're not in agreement. You're still negotiating, yet you announced that there is framework. See, this is all a con job, man. Everything that comes out of these people is a con job. It's a manipulation. It comes from a place of always be closing. I know that's a bit trite now, right? Because we hear that applied all the time to any sort of duplicitous activity where somebody's trying to manipulate a dupe out of their hard-earned cash. Always be closing. But that is what happens with these people. We've got more examples of that coming up later today. He did not give details, but Trump said the talks would continue to reach the agreement. So we're going to keep talking until we reach the agreement. So there is no agreement. Well, no, there's a framework. What do you mean there's a framework? There's a room with a table and 2 chairs? Is that the fucking framework? What? It's all a dupe, man. It's all a rouge. It's all pretty words arranged in an interesting way to make people who don't want to really think about stuff too hard go, oh, that's good. He won again. He won again. That's my guy. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen. I don't know. The name is Mette. Is that Meta? How do you... What? And it's probably like Fredriksson. It's probably not even Fredriksson, but whatever. Okay. Greenland's prime minister, Danish prime minister, Mette Fredriksson, said Danes could negotiate on everything, but we cannot negotiate on sovereignty. So the Danes are already saying, yeah, whatever. You want to pay us for some minerals? That's fine. You want to put more bases there? That's fine. But we're not negotiating about sovereignty because Greenland is a sovereign nation. So that's coming from the Danish prime minister. Greenland's prime minister echoed the Danish prime minister, saying sovereignty was a red line. Significantly, Jens Friedrich Nielsen said he did not know the details of the deal that is being discussed. All right, so there you go. That's the BBC. The BBC is, pretty just across the board. Here's what's going on. There's no fucking deal. He's saying there's a deal. Let us. Oh, man, we got to. Okay, so when I said that, always be closing. Always be closing. There's that. Then there is, the relentless gaslighting that has become so normal that I don't even know that we recognize gaslighting as gaslighting anymore, or we just like, hey, he's lying again. So there's that. There's always be closing. There's gaslighting. And then there's the other thing, projection. Projection is everything in this. I'll give you an example of Trump doing projection. You know that guy? He's terrible. He cheats on his wife. That's projection. That's Trump projection. Anything horrible, the only thing that Trump thinks is horrible are things that he is keeping inside of him. Things that the worst things about him, he will then take and throw on somebody else. He does it all the time. Insane projection. Where it's like, oh, he's talking about himself there. He just accused that guy of being friends with pedophiles. Oh, he's talking about himself there. Projection is a big one. Gaslighting, though, is the one that has really been used like an art form. Gaslighting is saying something that is obviously untrue with the intent to make the reasonable person question their logic. Gaslighting comes from a film, Gaslight, where they were trying to drive a woman insane. And, they had gas lights in the house. And every night before bed, she would turn the gas light off and then go to bed. And there's like a scene where she turns the light off, leaves the room for a second, and her husband or something walks in and turns it right back on and then leaves the room. The woman who just turned the light off comes back into the room to see it on. She tells the husband, why is this on? I just turned it off. He says, no, you didn't. And she says, yes, I did. And now she's questioning whether she fucking turned it off. She knows she's turned it off, but it's the fucking arrogance of the person willing to gaslight, to stay dug in no matter what. This is our truth, and you will accept it. So that's gaslighting. The most clear and obvious example of gaslighting from this administration, they don't have any fucks anymore. They don't care anymore about being seen as gaslighting. So I want to play something to you. I want to play something for you. This happened last night. Here, let me show you this. Oh, boy. All right, so here was a text exchange from Carolyn Levitt. She is the spokesperson for the White House. She's that hot chick, super hot. She's super hot. All right, so I don't know if you can see this, but this was a post by someone named Libby Dean, okay? Libby Dean posts, I'm going to read it to you because I know it's pretty small on your screen there, but here's what old Libby Dean posts. She says, during his World Economic Forum remarks, President Trump appeared to mix up Greenland and Iceland 3 times. Okay. That's all she posted. During his World Economic Forum speech, President Trump mixed up Greenland and Iceland 3 times, right? I thought I counted 6. I thought it was 6 times yesterday, but that's what she said on Twitter. Again, during his World Economic Forum speech, President Trump mixed up Greenland,
can't hide
and
anything
Iceland.
from
Now,
me.
I'm home.
we watched
Especially
this
when they've been using toilet
yesterday.
paper
We
that
know that he
doesn't
did
hold
this.
up.
Charmin
It's on
Ultra Strong
video.
has a
It is
diamond texture that's
everywhere.
more durable, and it cleans better, so you can use less.
Let me show you
Enjoy-
something here. Okay, let me show you what's happening here.
Go with Charmin.
And I'm helping.
All right, this is from yesterday, just to make sure, right? So again, this woman on Twitter said, earlier today at the World Economic Forum, Donald Trump mixed up Iceland and Greenland 3 times. I think it was more than that, but let's see. Here we go.
Europe, I'm helping NATO, and I've until the last few days when I told them about Iceland, they loved me. They called me daddy, right? Last time. Very smart man said, he's our daddy. He's running it. I was like running it. I went from running it to being a terrible human being. And now what I'm asking for is a piece of ice, cold and poorly located, that can play a vital role in world peace and world protection. It's a very small ask compared to what we have given them for many, many decades. But the problem with NATO is that we'll be there for them 100%. But I'm not sure that they'd be there for us. If we gave them the call, gentlemen, we are being attacked. We're under attack by such and such a nation. I know them all very well. I'm not sure that they'd be there. I know we'd be there for them. I don't know that they'd be there for us. So with all of the money we expend, with all of the blood, sweat, and tears, I don't know that they'd be there for us. They're not there for us on Iceland, that I can tell you. I mean, our stock market took the first dip yesterday because of Iceland. So Iceland's already cost us a lot of money. But that dip is peanuts compared to what it's gone up.
All right, so I counted 4 there, I think. I think I hit the bell 4 times. Get rid of that guy. So he obviously confused Greenland with Iceland. The woman on Twitter who said today during Trump's economic forum speech, he confused Iceland with Greenland. We just watched him do it, so we know that's true, right? Also, something else that needs to be mentioned in that, Trump is also really stupid, and he doesn't have good briefing. He doesn't listen to briefing. He just freeballs it out there with the shit that he says, because he said very specifically, he said, I don't know that if we ever needed them that they would come to us. Do you know that the only time the NATO forces rallied was in the wake of 9/11? After the United States was attacked. That was the one time when the NATO nations came together to defend one of their members. They have never done that before. Russia never went into West Germany and NATO had to defend it. That is not a thing that has ever happened. So when Trump gets up there and says, I don't know if we ever needed it, if they'd be there for us, the only time that they've ever been there for anybody was for us after 9/11. He's just fucking lying. Now back to the gaslighting. Lying, I'm sorry, he's not lying. Lying gives you too much credit. He's just stupid. He just doesn't know that. He just didn't know. He's like, oh yeah, that's right. Right? He's one of those guys. Makes these statements, these world-changing statements because of the position he occupies. Makes these dumb fucking statements, puts them out there to people. Now, there are people today who heard that speech who are walking around going, NATO would never come to help us. Meanwhile, that is just untrue. So, the gaslighting. Person gets on Twitter and says, Donald Trump during the World Economic Forum today identified Greenland and Iceland 3 times. I think we counted 4. So that's just what they posted. That's what they tweeted. And we just watched it. We just watched it happen. We know what the truth is. We know what the truth is. So now let me share you a response to that tweet from the official White House spokesperson, Carolyn Leavitt. Okay? Here's what Carolyn Leavitt had to say. No, he didn't, Libby. Libby was the person who said that during his World Economic Forum remarks, President Trump appeared to mix up Greenland and Iceland around 3 times. The official voice, the voice of truth that we are supposed to hang everything on, Carolyn Leavitt, White House spokesperson, responds, no, he didn't, Libby. His written remarks referred to Greenland as a piece of ice because that's what it is. You're the only one mixing anything up here, Libby. That is gaslighting. I just wanted to get to that because I just wanted you to see an example of gaslighting and how they aren't even really hiding it anymore. Libby said that Trump mixed up Greenland and Iceland. The spokesperson for the White House said, no, he didn't. You're lying. Well, we just watched the video, so we know who's lying. And they don't care about lying. They have no shame. They are saying this. Carolyn Levitt put this out not because she is incorrect and thought she was being honest. Carolyn Levitt put this out. No, he didn't, Libby. His written remarks referred to Greenland as a piece of ice because that's what it is. You're the only one mixing anything up here. Our guy never makes mistakes. That's basically what she's saying. Even though we just heard the exact opposite. We know the truth. She knows the truth. She's seen that. She was fucking there. She knows the truth, and she is intentionally gaslighting you, MAGA, not us normal people who are like, well, we saw the fucking video. She's fucking lying and therefore has no credibility. To normal people, she hasn't had any credibility since she married a 90-year-old man at 21 years old. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. So anyway, that should make you angry, but oh my God, just throw that on all the other shit that makes you angry. But anytime people try to push back on the idea that this administration doesn't lean heavily into the art of gaslighting, you know they're a liar now. You know they're a liar because that is an explicit example of how they lie to you because they know you will fucking accept it. Not the rest of us, not the people who this stream is for, not the 70 of us. We're here looking at that going, oh, fuck. Why is it got to be so obvious? Why can't they just be good at it and make it so that we'd have to debate whether or not they're gaslighting? No, straight up gaslighting from the podium of the press room, from the spokesperson for the Oval Office. No, he didn't mix it up. Why can't they just admit that people make mistakes? That's what's so infuriating. He's an old man. Old men misspeak. We know what he meant. He knew what he meant. It's not that big of a deal. So just fucking say, yeah, well, they are kind of similar. That's all. That's all. It would go so much further than, no, he didn't, Libby. His written remarks referred to Greenland as a piece of ice because that's what it is. You're the only one mixing anything up here, Libby. All hail the leader. All hail the leader. Guys. I mean, at some point, I can't even be angry about it anymore. At some point, I just got to go, those people are gone. That's the 15% on the right. The 15% who know what they saw, but now because Carolyn Levitt tells them different, they're like, well. And they don't even care about the obvious attempt at manipulation. They don't even care. They see it. I don't know how. What? You're just bad people. Just bad people. That 15%, they're bad people. The other 15, they're bad too. But we're not talking about them right now because that 15% has no power in any sector of this society. That 15% has been sidelined, and that's good. All right. The other 15, they are very empowered, and they need to be called out. All right, what else do we have? One more thing from... See, here's another mistake that happens when you're not practiced, inartful, and just freeball it in front of a room full of the most important people on the planet. These are the kinds of things that happens. I want to play this for you. This was funny. This was good. So Trump again during his speech at Davos. I think I mentioned this yesterday, but now we've actually got the video of it, so we'll show that. So Trump at his speech, Davos, the World Economic Forum.
Aren't the guys waiting to stick you up?
This is where the world's bankers and leaders and all that stuff. Everybody's there. Al Gore was there.
They can impersonate you.
They have a voice
Hey,
cloned.
do you know what they should have?
This is the golden age of scamming.
Hold on a second.
The new battlefield is online.
Sorry, there's an ad, so I'm trying to overtalk the ad. I don't want to compete with it. All right, anyway, here you go. This is
And
from
I'm helping.
here. This is from Davos yesterday. This is really funny. And again, this is the result of a guy who's just so arrogant and so confident that he thinks he can just go up and just freeball the speech. Here he is, just talking shit in Davos, Switzerland.
Europe, I'm helping NATO, and I've until the last few days when I told them about Iceland, they loved me. They called me daddy, right? Last time. Very smart man said, he's our daddy. He's running it. I was like running it. I went from running it to being a terrible human being. And now what I'm asking for is a piece of ice.
Oh, wait, what the
Cold
fuck
and
is
poorly
this?
located.
Hold on.
That can play a vital role
Hold on.
in world.
Didn't we just watch this one? Hold on. Let me see what this is real quick. No, that's not the one. Okay, where's the one I'm looking for? There's so many. There's so many. All right, here we go. I'm sorry. It's this one. Okay, yeah, there we go. There are so many clips that I wanted to show of him just saying stupid shit yesterday, but here you go. This is the one. This is the comic relief. This is funny.
After the war,
Here you go.
And then after the war, which we won it big. Without us, right now, you'd all be speaking German and a little Japanese, perhaps.
Okay. Okay, so why is that funny? Let's listen one more time. Again, he's standing in front of a room full of people there in Switzerland, and this is what he says.
And then after the war, which we won it big. Without us, right now, you'd all be speaking German and a little Japanese, perhaps.
All right, they'll all be speaking German, he says to a room full of people who speak German. Yes, that's right. The official language, over 70% of the population in Switzerland speaks daily German. German is the language there, and he's standing in front of a room full of these people, and he goes, if it wasn't for... He used that old bullshit. That's an old man thing to say. If it wasn't for us, you'd all be speaking German. See, normally when you say that, you're supposed to say that to someone from England, okay, or France, right? That's how you use that. He's standing in front of a room full of German people going, yeah, if it wasn't for me, you'd all be speaking German. He's stupid, is my point. He's stupid like a kid who was given everything his entire life, who ascended to position of powers, ran his mouth, was a dumb fuck, but nobody has ever been able to say anything to him because starting from that very early point, he was always the boss's son. And you either know what the boss's son is like or you don't. So he says stupid shit all the time. I imagine daily in the halls, he says stupid shit that is incorrect, but nobody ever corrects him. It's Elvis syndrome. That's right, King. Whatever you say, man. That's what has happened to him. His entire life has been some form of Elvis syndrome, whether it's the fucking nannies who hated him. Remember that in 2016? They actually found his nanny and she's like, he was a piece of shit. Just so you know, he was, as a little kid. Imagine a nanny saying that. What kind of a piece of shit must you be for a nanny to turn on you like that? And how old was the fucking nanny in 2016? Anyway. Wait, we told you the story the other day about David Beckham and Victoria Posh Spice Beckham's kid, Brooklyn, and how Brooklyn got married to this other billionaire chick, Nicola something. And they had 2 seats at their table for their wedding. And Victoria Posh Spice Beckham lost her shit because those 2 seats went to the bride and groom's nannies. Yeah, they had nannies. They loved their nanny, and their nanny probably loved them, not Trump's nanny. Trump's nanny was like, he was a mean kid. He was a mean, bad kid who got everything he wanted. He's a jerk off is the point. All right, and he's dumb. He's a dumb guy. He's a dumb guy, and he's your hero, and here we are, and we just got to ride this out, apparently. With now a deal in place, a framework for a deal in place for Greenland. You'd all be speaking German. All right, guys, 1 o'clock. I'm going to take a quick break here. I got to go pee because, of course, I drink copious amounts of coffee. Just endless amounts of fluids go into this husk of a Sad excuse for humanity. So I need to run and take a very quick tinkle. Oh, I do want to thank, we've got an executive producer today. I don't think I did this because we came in hot. We started out with that first segment about Elon Musk unnecessarily trying to create a race war. Class war. That's what we got to stay dialed into. A fucking class war. Okay? And by the way, if a couple of billionaires want to help us with our class war, we'll be sure and make them kings. All right, you guys can still, we can all use a couple of billionaires, right? We just don't need this billionaire class being in charge of everything. Soros, Cuban, you guys are all right. You guys are cool. I just said Soros. You guys are probably so angry. All right, today we do have an executive. Oh, do we not have an executive producer? Where's our executive? Yes, we do. Here's our executive producer, Peter the Great. This show, this kind of opposition talk, it's just not afraid. It's not afraid because we got no listeners. Well, if we had a lot of listeners, I should probably be in fear of them kicking in my door and saying, you can't talk bad about the Great Pumpkin. But we don't. So trying to grow the show, and how we do that in the meantime is we ask you for your contributions to keep this kind of talk radio, opposition talk. It's not Democratic talk. It's not leftist talk. It's opposition talk. It is normal people looking at this going, what the fuck? Drop a little something in either the Venmo or the Cash App, and you tomorrow could be producer of the show. Oh, by the way, there's a programming note on that. All right, yeah. So I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll come back and then I'll tell you about what may be the plan for tomorrow. Okay, we'll do that. All right, here we go. One more time, thank you to today's executive producer. Peter the Great is our producer. He tipped the show. And if you tip the show, you can be the executive producer of the next show. If you need to find out how, it's scrolling right down there at the bottom of your screen. Programming note concerning tomorrow. I don't know if we're doing a show tomorrow. I'm just going to put it like that. Here's the situation. You guys down there in Texas, most of our viewers, listeners, Texas and California, a bunch, or at least I know a couple, Chicago, we're all getting weather. Chicago and Dallas are about to get weather. Dallas is about to get something that is probably going to fuck that city up for a couple of days, or maybe just a couple of hours, because in Dallas it could be 75 tomorrow or the next day, right? But you've got this storm coming through, and it's going to throw some snow down there in Dallas, Fort Worth, and it's going to make ice. Power lines are going to collapse because you don't use the same kind of power lines that they use in places that gets all kinds of residual issues happen when Dallas Fort Worth gets hit with the kind of ice and snow that they are predicting for the next couple of days down there. Now, at the very same time where I am, we're going to get the snow. We're gonna get snow, but we've already gotten snow, and there's snow on the ground here, and we've got snow. It's winter. It's winter in Chicago. We expect snow, so snow's gonna come. But snow isn't the problem for us. The problem for us here in Chicago is the deep freeze that is supposed to occur. Let me see. All right. So currently what we're looking at here, we're currently looking at 26 degrees. It is 26 degrees. That's fine. That is 26 degrees. It's sunny outside. The snow looks beautiful. Everything is good. It's winter in Chicago. It's a Midwestern winter day. Here's what we got an alert for, though. It says severe weather alerts, extreme cold warning from Friday, 3 a.m. That's tonight. That's tonight at 3 a.m. Until Friday noon. Okay, so let's see what they're calling for. All right, so it looks like I'm looking at the temperatures over the next 12 hours here. And as I said, we're currently at 27. By 10 o'clock tonight, it says we're going to be at 10. So by 10 o'clock tonight, we're going to go from 27 degrees now. We're going to drop 17. We're going to be down to 10. By midnight, we're going to be at 8. By 2 a.m., we're going to be at 3 degrees. Holy shit. By 3 a.m., we're going to be at 0. And by the time we all wake up on Friday morning, yes, we are going to be at a projected 7 a.m. minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit in Chicago. Minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Anything under 32, plus 32, anything under plus 32 freezes. So we're going 32 more, we're down to 0, and now we're in the negative. That is how cold the standing air temperature is going to be predicted here in Chicago over the next 24 hours. So to that end, I have to tell you, and we must anticipate this, my car is not kept in a garage. It's kept in a driveway. So there is a good chance that I will wake up tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock and start my car, because that's what you have to do up here. First thing you have to do is, even before you start the coffee, you got to get up, put on your coat, rub the sleet out of your eyes. You got to walk into the driveway, and you got to start your car. And your car's got to run for a good 40 minutes. Jump in the shower, do whatever you do. Your car's got to defrost. That's probably not going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, if it's minus 10 degrees, my car is not going to start. Many people's cars are not going to start. It's going to be dead. We're going to have dead batteries all over the Midwest if it is, in fact, minus 10 degrees. I don't know. Here's where my head is at right now, looking at what the weather could be like tomorrow morning. When I wake up tomorrow morning, if I look outside and there is a little temperature gauge outside my window, if I look outside and that thing is below 0, I'm going back to bed and there will not be a show tomorrow. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to try my car. I won't even be able to get. I've got a sliding glass door that is an exit to a deck area and a access to the garage and the. I got a really cool setup over at my mom's place. It's a great guest room. But anyway, I've got a sliding glass door, a private entrance so I can go in and out of my little wing of things there. And I promise you, tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., I will not be able to open the sliding glass door. It'll be frozen shut. And so I'll be like, I'm going to bed. So if that is the case, please, we're going to take we're not going to call it a snow day. We're going to take an ice day probably. Although, and this is this is an opportunity, right? Like, what if I do come in here tomorrow and I do a show tomorrow in the crazy cold weather and all that? Are a lot of my potential friends and people who don't get a chance to hang out with us, will they be home? Will they be available to maybe they may be looking for something to do? So maybe tomorrow's an opportunity for growth, because I don't know. We're playing it by ear. We'll see. It is really hard, folks, when you wake up at like 7:30 in the morning and you open up, your door and you look outside and it's minus 10 degrees. That's untenable. Minus 10 degrees is your pipes freeze. Oh, God. It's just unbelievable. How long do they say that's going to last? Okay, so here's what we're looking at. I guess it says here on Friday, the high temperature predicted for Chicago. The high temperature. This is as warm as they think it's going to get tomorrow. The high temperature is going to be minus 3 degrees. The low temperature tomorrow is predicted to be minus 9 degrees. So that's what we're dealing with. And that may interrupt the show because I do travel a good 15 miles between where I wake up in the morning and where we do these shows from the Kelly Moore North. That's kind of hard to say. Memorial Studios. All right, so Friday we're looking at minus. Did that just change? All right, it's changed. Now it says it's getting better. Now it says Friday the predicted is minus 2 as a high and minus 7 as a low. Saturday high is going to be 10, low is going to be 8. We're getting better. Sunday we've got a high of 18. Here we go. We're getting back into normal. But the low on Sunday is going to be minus 1. And then it looks like we're done with the crazy shit. But whatever, for the next 48 hours, man, we are looking at a high temperature here on the south side of Chicago of about minus 3 degrees. That's what's predicted. So I don't know, man. You just got to understand that's here's what I am going to do. Today, because it's Thursday, I have these like protocols, these procedures that I follow on Fridays. So I go and I just get all the shit that I'm going to need for the weekend, because you know what? It's winter. If I don't have to go out over the weekend, I won't. I usually do that on Friday. I'm going to do that tonight. I'm going to do that on Thursday, anticipating that I might need some supplies if we're going to be homebound for a couple of days, because it's too fucking cold to go outside and be a human being. It literally is like the Arctic Circle. I mean, you see these depictions of people working at like research stations in the Arctic Circle, and they open the door and it's like that. That's legitimately what it would be like. It'll be terrible like that. Nobody wants to do anything outside. So that's what we got coming up, okay? So just a little word to the wise. Be following me on all my socials, Pugs Moran, whether that's Twitter or Facebook or Threads or Blue Sky or YouTube, whatever. Wherever you follow Pugs Moran or Pugs and Company, both work. Just be looking for updates. I'll let you know tomorrow. I'll let you know when I wake up. All right, so now let's get into the second part of the show, okay? Thank you, Peter, too, everybody. A warm round of applause for Peter. Adam, oh, yeah, let's do this. We'll catch up in the chat room before we jump into that. Let's see. All right, so Barney has an important question. He says, why are people from Greenland Greenlander, but people from Iceland are Icelandic? Well, having some experience with the fine people of Iceland, I can tell you, absolutely they refer to themselves as Icelanders. Icelandic is the culture in general. The culture and the society and all that, it's Icelandic society, Icelandic culture. But the people, the individual people, Barney, they do refer to themselves as Icelanders. There was a really cool bar called the Icelander that we went to. So I can speak with some authority that the people of Iceland do in fact refer to themselves as Icelanders. Let's see. Adam's got a podcast suggestion. It's not a Radio Misfits podcast, but okay. Adam says, listen to Fresh Air podcast about our relationship with Denmark, and they're one of the few people who went with us into Iraq. So they've always been a good, yes, they've always been a good ally. That's the thing. They've always, so is Canada. Canada's always been a good ally, but that doesn't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing. All right, let's see here. Let's get into the second half. All right, we'll start with this. So, this Bovino guy, he's been taking a beating there on, what's his name? Is it Dick Bovino? He's the guy that's in charge of the American SS, the guys, the jackbooted thugs who've been parachuted into our communities and are just wrecking shop, and they're not accountable for anything, apparently. It's a very ham-fisted way of what we all want, which is the rounding up of dangerous criminals who also happen to be in this country illegally. That's what we're all signed off on, and that is absolutely not what any of us are witnessing, regardless of the gaslighting coming from the most powerful places in our government. Bovino's the guy in charge of it. Bovino, I was thinking about this guy yesterday because he is taking an absolute beating on the socials. Everybody's saying he looks like a middle-aged lesbian, which is true. He really does look like a middle-aged lesbian. I posted yesterday that he looks like your grandma's friend who's never been married but has somehow attended every Thanksgiving that you've ever been to. You know that? Your grandma's friend from church who's not married. But she's there. She's Jan. Is Jan going to be at Thanksgiving this year? Of course, Jan is going to be in Thanksgiving. And then as the generations go, you start having kids. And the kid goes, so who's this Jan person? And I'm like, I'm not entirely sure. Is she like a cousin? No, she's not a cousin. She seems to be friends with grandma. And she's always been friends with grandma. That's basically what this Bovino guy looks like. He really does. And it was an unfortunate, all of these mockery comes from one specific press conference where he did very much look like a lesbian gym coach. He did. And so now he's taking a beating. But he's taking a rightful beating because this guy is a son of a bitch. And I was thinking, this guy's all in. This guy's all in. He is unapologetic for the job that he has been tasked with, and he is doing it like a good little soldier. Believe we heard that from a lot of people in Germany back in the day, that they were just good soldiers. They're just good soldiers. So he's doing this, and he's really been put in the fucking barrel by this administration. This Bovino guy, he isn't supposed to be famous. He's another one of these bureaucrats. He's one of these military bureaucrats. And now, he's the guy that's front and center, taking all the slings and arrows, being mocked on all the socials as a lesbian gym coach and whatnot. So I was thinking, what is his life going to be like in 10 years? Just fast forward. This guy's going to be around. He's not that old. Bovino's going to be around in 10 years. What is he going to be like walking into a restaurant in 10 years when the dust settles? I mean, you can ask that question for a whole lot of people. A whole lot of people associated with this, young people who you would think are going to go on to have careers. What are they going to be like? What are their reputations going to be moving forward when the dust settles on all this? And Bovino is someone that I would be concerned about, because Bovino has done some things that I believe future administrations will take legal action about. There are obvious violations of people's civil rights. The SS, the American SS, I think they're called, what are they called? ICE? Well, that's cute. I like American SS. The American SS, there's a memo that is circulating now that was big breaking news last night that says that they are basically just going to ignore warrants if they believe that there is an illegal immigrant in the place. So they've been dropped, again, we'll call them shock troops, dropped from the federal government into our neighborhoods, states' motherfucking rights, been dropped into our neighborhoods and are now going in without warrants. And there's a memo now that backs it up, because a lot of people have been saying and complaining that they're not using warrants. They're just going in. They are violating our Fourth Amendment rights as citizens. Well, they weren't born here. That's not how it works, stupid. If you're here in America, even if you're here illegally, you are still protected by the rights of federal law, or the limitations placed upon federal law enforcement from doing illegal search and seizures and kicking in doors. Why? Because at the moment they're kicking in the door, they're not sure, and due process hasn't been served, that you are, in fact, an illegal criminal. So those rights stay in place until the moment of judgment. They don't know. They think there's an illegal in there. There could be a whole bunch of Americans. So you're going to kick in their door and just roll the dice on violating a bunch of people's rights, because the fucking Bill of Rights mean absolutely nothing to these people when it's in the way of their stated goal. That is not who we are. That is not how America has become the greatest creation God ever bestowed upon this big blue marvel. That is not who we are. And now there's an official memo that says they can do it. These federal troops don't need a warrant to go into your neighborhood and kick in your door, and you don't give a shit because you're not one of them. What's the old saying? Oh, they came for blah and I did blah. They came for blah and I did blah. Well, this is kind of one of those moments where our rights, yes, they're being trampled on, right? Our rights are being used. They're our rights. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm confused. It's a slippery slope. If we start normalizing the idea that we can just kick indoors because it's going to serve a greater good, that is dangerous. And that is not how a responsible society operates, but we're doing it. And the memo is there. Now, I want to show you a piece of video because I want to have the conversation about the big, giant, spooky, scary federal government that my dear friends on the right have been pearl clutching about for a good 30 years. Every Republican conservative that I know is a staunch and principled believer in states' rights, even the ones that are MAGA. And I've talked to a number of them, and they have real problems with this. So I don't know who's left. I don't know what people are still fucking saying that it's okay in this instance. If the federal government wants to be dropped into your neighborhood, shove your local police aside, kick in a door, violate judges' orders, and drag grandpas through the snow. Mistakenly, remember that from a couple of days ago? They kicked in the door of a Hmong citizen, a citizen of Hmong culture and ancestry. The Hmong were the Laotian people who aided the United States in fighting the North Vietnamese. When the United States pulled out of Vietnam, we granted citizenship to all the people that helped us. This guy in Minnesota was a part of that. A U.S. citizen since 1992 because of the stuff that his parents did. Because the stuff his parents did meant that they would be slaughtered in their village if they had stayed there. So the United States government, because we are decent, or at least we used to be, we said, you know what, we're going to bring these people into the country. And oh, by the way, anybody want to help us with this? And guess who stood up? The Christian right. The Christian right brought these people in, gave them houses, got them set up. These are the Hmongs. This is the story of the Hmong people in America. I told you about it the other day. So we saw video of a no-knock, kick the door in and go and get this guy. They found a guy that matched the description of a pedophile they were hunting. And they dragged him out in front of his grandkids in his underwear through the snow. And it turns out he's a legal American citizen who they are now apologizing for. Oh, then we got the girl, that cute little girl from North Texas who went out over Christmas to visit some colleges or some shit. Remember? And then she got on a plane and they're like, yeah, you're going to a prison in El Salvador. And they sent her fucking somewhere, sight unseen. Come on, man. We're fucking with people. We're fucking with people, and we're just doing it so that the president can have big numbers to brag about when he goes on TV. That's all it is. It's a TV show for everybody except the people in the community that this is happening in. And that's where we get to the question of they came for blank and we did nothing. So this relentless defense of these tactics that are being used against American citizens. And they're saying, oh, we make mistakes. We're making a lot of mistakes. Trump even said the other day, well, the mistakes have been made. Okay. But we don't just go, oh, well, when the mistake that is made is sending a college girl to a prison in Central America because you think she looked illegal. That is not a mistake that we go, that is a mistake where you change procedure. That is a mistake where you go, okay, wait a second, maybe we need to dial back on what we're doing. You can't apologize for it and then keep doing it relentlessly. And everybody's mad at the people of Minnesota. But that's got to be confusing because when you see the people of Minnesota, they don't look like the kind of people that you're typically mad at. You know, the kind of people that Elon Musk is trying to get you mad at. We're going to see. We're going to look at some video. We're going to look at the people. We're going to look at the scuzzy, leftist, libtard, Antifa freaks that are in the streets. We're going to look at their faces. They're not who you want. They are not who they want you to think they are. They're not bringing people in from all over to cause mayhem and chaos. These are fucking people in the neighborhood who are tired of it, who are tired of seeing their firemen, their policemen, their first responders, whatever, their judges in some cases. They are tired of seeing their local tribe get shit on by the big federal government. That is the problem. So stop saying, no, it's about getting these illegals out. No. That was the original problem, and you went about it the wrong way. So now we've got a whole bunch of other problems that we're dealing with now. There isn't a reasonable person in this country who doesn't think that we ought to be better about getting rid of these illegals who are criminals. Every single reasonable person agrees with that. That is not what's happening. That is not at all what is happening. Why? Because this is a stats-driven president, and he wants to be able to show that he out-deported Biden. That's what this is about. And he doesn't give a fuck who he kicks out of the country. They can always come back. We can say, well, like that college girl, we apologize, she's back. And, you know, not for nothing, but again, we go back to this Hmong citizen. Hmong citizen. I keep pronouncing the H, but whatever, that's what I do. I keep going back to this guy. There are layers to the humiliation that this man was forced. From being dragged out in handcuffs in your underwear through the snow in front of your entire neighborhood, to the fact that at the moment they burst through the door, he was playing karaoke with his grandkids. Those grandkids watch this. Those little grandkids, natural-born American citizens, I must imagine. Those grandkids got to see Grandpa get fucking roughhoused by a bunch of dudes that look like SEAL team. But they got an apology. There was an apology. They were sorry about that one. Sorry, kids. So here, let me show you a video. This is Bovino and his shock troops are, you know, one person described them, and I thought this was great. This was on, I don't know what it was, one of the news channels yesterday. They were interviewing somebody in the neighborhood who was out there protesting, and it was this guy. It was a middle-aged white guy, Minnesota guy, who doesn't like the shock troops in his neighborhood. You know, your typical libtard. Marine veteran, served in Iraq and Afghanistan. That's who this guy is. He's a man on the street, and they talk to him about what's going on. You know how he described Bovino and his crew? Bovino is the leader, the guy we're talking about. This veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan, middle-aged white man, tax-paying citizen of Minneapolis, you know, the state that's known as being the nicest fucking state in the country. This guy is stopped on the street, and they ask him about what he's seeing, and he described Bovino. Again, this is a two-time military veteran, Iraq and Afghanistan. He described Bovino as riding around town like an African warlord. So imagine that perspective of the people who live in the neighborhood. This fucking guy, like a conquering, like Hitler riding through Paris. Or in the way this guy described, like an African warlord, like the type that he saw when he was serving this country. And then he tagged it with, "This is not America." A veteran. But fuck that guy. He disagrees with Trump, so he's a libtard, right? Fuck that guy. You're broken if that's how you see this. All right, so Bovino and his crew, they decided to stop in at a local speedway. They're riding around like fucking warlords. They stop in at a local speedway, and the locals there This went down. This was how Bovino got treated at the Speedway by the people who work at the Speedway. He was kicked out. He and his guys walked into the Speedway, and the people behind the counter at the Speedway says, "We reserve the right to refuse you service. Get the fuck out of here. No gas, no rollers, no fucking hot coffee. Get the fuck out of here." This is the neighborhood. These aren't protesters. Understand, this isn't somebody who's in the street trying to block the progress of a parade of ICE vehicles. Nah, this is a dude that just went to work. He works at the Speedway. He lives in the neighborhood, probably walks to work, and he represents the voice of the American citizen who is watching this dissension of federal shock troops into their neighborhood. Oh, Pugs, you're over. No, I am not. Watch this. This is how Bovino, the African warlord, is being treated by the tribal people.
ICE does not belong in this property at all. We do not support ICE. Get off of our property. Bye. 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 Get out of my way. I'm trying to leave.
All right, let me draw your attention to this guy. Because again, remember, all the people who are upset in Minneapolis are flown in from fucking Portland, and they're all Antifa, and they're all funded by Soros or whatever stupid shit you tell yourself. Here's a white guy. Here's a middle-aged white guy getting gas who is now fucking jammed up because of this bullshit. Well, he's obviously a radical Antifa. Look at him with his gray hair, his flannel shirt, and his fucking gray Buick. Oh, yeah, nothing says Antifa like a middle-aged man in a gray fucking Buick. He's getting gas. He's trying to get the fuck out of there. And Bovino and his guys are getting run off, and they're causing a problem. So let's listen to this. The voice of the anonymous citizen who is putting up with this shit.
Bye. Get out of my way. I'm trying to leave. Get out of the way.
They're trying to help the white guy who obviously isn't going to be asked for his papers. They're trying to, now, oh, you're one of the good ones. We need to help you.
He's trying to get out of here. Hey, watch out behind you. Get the fuck out of my way! Get out of my city!
Get the fuck out of my way and get out of my city. Just in case some of you were ready to go, no, he's beeping at the protesters. It's the protesters who are causing the problem. No. This guy who lives in this town, who was just getting gas when all this shit blew up, this guy knows what he sees, and he is saying, get the fuck out of my city.
You're welcome.
All right, there you have it. That is a Speedway, a locally run and operated Speedway franchise in Minneapolis who does not want the shock troops in their neighborhood. I will tell you from my part, there's a corner where I get gas, and there is a 7-Eleven, which I believe is an Arco. And then if I go one block further, there is a Speedway. I will be going that one extra block now, and I will be buying all of my shit at that Speedway in support of this local Speedway, saying, get the fuck out of here. We reserve the right to refuse service. Goodbye. So what is the backlash of that? Well, the right that's always up. MAGA, who's always upset about, I believe they called it cancel culture. Well, they're at it again. Yeah. The people who hate cancel culture are now trying to cancel Speedway. So if you're a normal person, get some gas at Speedway as a show of support for those people who want these Nazis out of their neighborhood. By the way, they're trying to compel Speedway, the corporation, to weigh in on this. I believe we have something. Is there something from Speedway? Hold on. Target is also being compelled to weigh in on, the situation that we talked about yesterday. Okay. And the Speedway faces boycott after ICE agents are kicked out of the gas station. fine. But here's the problem with this, okay? They're called convenience stores, and people use them because they are convenient. If there is a call to boycott Speedway stores, and somebody who is likely to, hear that and go, yeah, I agree with the boycott. I'm not going to go to Speedway anymore. If Speedway is the convenience store that you always go to, you're full of shit. You're going to keep going to that Speedway because one thing I know about you people who are so easily triggered to boycott shit, you're lazy fucks. And if it means you have to drive an extra mile to go to a 7-Eleven Arco in order to stand on principle, well, fuck that. You ain't doing it. Kind of like the NFL. Remember when you all pledged to not watch the NFL anymore? Remember that? And now you're all complaining about some fucking headband that a Houston Texan wore or some shit? Eye black. It was eye black. Yeah, you're not supposed to be watching the NFL, but you are. Why? Because one thing I know about the crazy 15 on the right, they lack principles. Zero principles. They don't stand on any business that isn't business authorized by the Great Orange Pumpkin. That's it. No principles. So good luck with that, with your boycott of Speedway. The only reason you use the Speedway that you will now be boycotting is because it's fucking convenient. You don't like to be inconvenienced because you're a lazy fuck. So good luck with the boycott, fuck sticks. You better not be watching any championship football this weekend, man, because you ain't supposed to. Kaepernick took a knee so that you didn't have to watch football anymore. Let's stick with that. All right, so Speedway, they're not going to do anything. Target's not going to do anything. They're not going to get involved. Let me tell you what, if I run my imaginary crisis management company where I advise these corporations on what to do, here's what I would say Speedway needs to do. Speedway needs to put out some kind of a response to this because there is a call, and that video did go viral. Speedway needs to put out a response that says that Speedway is a collection, a family, if you will, of independent operators spread out across this great country of ours. We try not to get involved in the issues that affect the individual neighborhoods and allow our operators to do what they feel is best for their community. Thank you. We're Speedway. That's how we fucking do it. Because, that Speedway is acting in the best interest of their business. If that Speedway thought, wow, the whole community is against us kicking Bovino out, this could really shut us down in a couple of weeks, they wouldn't have done it. But they know what the vibe is of the people who get gas and come in and get coffee and eat them fucking rollers or whatever those things are. They're good. My son loves them. I do too. They know the vibe of their community. They're not doing anything that they think is against the grain of what is currently the energy there. No, they know what they're doing. Once again, go ahead. Boycott your convenient Speedway, the one that's right there on the corner that's so easy for you to pull in and get your gas and your coffee in the morning. That's right. Find a new place because you're standing on principle, MAGA. You're standing on principle. Fuck you. Speedway ain't even worried. Speedway's like, dumb people. And again, once again, coming from the people who absolutely hate cancel culture. Gaslighting. That is another example of gaslighting. Whenever anyone in MAGA goes, oh, there's the left with their cancel culture, it's gaslighting because they are just waiting for the next opportunity to participate in the popular game, cancel culture. So Bovino gets kicked out of the Speedway. He's embarrassed. He doesn't have his coffee. He's got dudes in his gang that fucking really wanted those rollers, but now they got to go to 7-Eleven and the rollers aren't as good. They're a little crispier, but not quite as good. So, they're upset. They're angry. They get back in their car. They start rolling around this area like they're, again, a team of African warlords surveying their conquests. Here you go. Well, let's watch this.
He was a Afghan. Earlier today, we rolled up on this scene and something.
All right, so again, he gets kicked out of the subway. He goes back on patrol, and now he's pissed. So he does this.
Minneapolis, moments after he was there, himself personally throwing canisters of some type of chemical agent. Watch this.
I don't want to pause this because that's a good place to pause. Look at all them Black Lives Matters fucks. Look at all these teenage Antifas with their skateboards. Look at all of these typical leftards flown in by Soros on private jets from Portland. Look at yourself. This is an American, Midwestern, Minnesota community who is fucking sick of this shit. So they are turning out to make life uncomfortable for the invading forces. Look at their faces. I don't know, man. I'm not seeing a whole bunch of, well, again, I suppose it's difficult because the cold weather does dictate that you wear, masks and stuff. But I do not see, this is not a violent crowd. This is a group of people in their own community coming outside to yell at people that they don't like. And you can do that in your community. That's an American right. All right, here he comes. See, look at here he is. Here's the lesbian gym coach who just got booted from the Speedway. He's got something in his hand. He's about to throw it at your fucking math teacher. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, that's there. Look, I like that chick. That's just like... This chick's like somebody's secretary who's on her lunch break and she just got fucking tear gas thrown at her. Why? Because she doesn't like what she's seeing being done to the people of her community. That's why these people are out there. They're not funded by Soros. They're not fucking necessarily anti-Trump. There's a lot of Trump supporters, or formerly there were a lot of Trump supporters in Minnesota. This is what they're doing to them, okay? Think about what the next plan is. Who are they going to come after next? Catholics? I don't know. Probably not, because I think Catholics are pretty... Although the Catholic Church has turned against MAGA. So yeah, papists, us, we're not Americans either. Look at this gorgeous Mary Tyler Moore motherfucking neighborhood. Did you ever watch Mary Tyler Moore? That's who these people are. They're Mary, Phyllis, and Rhoda. Unbelievable. Stop listening to bullshit narratives that these are troublemaking Black Panthers and Black Lives Matter and Antifa and Soros flown in Portland agitators. Stop listening to that. These are people who live in the community. My God, you guys ran with the good story. She's not even from there. Yes, she was. She just had a fucking car with out-of-state plates like I did for 5 years in Texas. Sometimes people do that when they move from somewhere else. She had a fucking lease on an apartment that she'd lived in with this other chick, her wife, I guess, for a couple of years. Stop it. She was from outside and she got what she deserved. No, she wasn't. Now, you can say, and we'll listen to this argument, the argument, well, they're interfering with government police activity, so they deserve to have tear gas thrown at them. What's the government activity? Well, we are rounding up hardened criminals that are hiding within your community. Yeah, that's not what we're seeing. That's not what we're seeing. So we, the people of this community, are just here to tell the world that I know that that's what you're telling people you're doing, but that is not what's fucking happening here in the communities of Minneapolis, St. Paul. Bovino, ladies and gentlemen, Bovino. All right. By the way, that video that we showed there of him, because he was all angry because he couldn't get his hot coffee and taquito roll up from the Speedway, he was all pissed off, so he started throwing fucking tear gas at fucking secretaries there. Mary Tyler Moore III there, just getting hit with a canister. Yeah, he was mad. He's like, I'm going to show these people. How about just get the fuck out? Bovino. So one of the things that we haven't talked about, though, that is, I guess, been going around, and it seems to me like this is something that the crazy 15% on the right really want us to talk about because it concerns the crazy 15% on the left. of which I consider Don Lemon absolutely a part of. So Don Lemon, because he sucks. I've always told you about Don Lemon. I've been consistent on Don Lemon for a good decade now. Don Lemon is a theater kid who has no acting chops, but he still wanted to be on TV, so he decided to pretend to be a newsman. That's what he is. He's a theater kid. Don Lemon is a theater kid who's like, oh, I can't get in movies, but I want to be famous. So I'm on TV. I'll go into TV news. My acting role will be I'll pretend to be a responsible journalist. How's that working out, Donnie? Donnie's a rabble rouser, and he got fired from CNN, rightfully so, because he's a shit-stirring rabble rouser. Look, I call him out on the right. I'll call him out on the left. I'm a normal person. I can see what these people are trying to do. So Don Lemon got fired into the sun like so much cannon fodder. And now he's doing this. He's screaming at clouds. Although he's not screaming at clouds because he's actually got an audience because he's fucking Don Lemon. And I'm sure Don Lemon is well funded by some weird leftist organization, whatever. But he's out there causing trouble and streaming it and all that stuff. And I guess over the weekend he went to some church whose pastor is also an ICE agent. So they did a stunt. And the right's going crazy. And, everybody's called MAGA's like, we're going to investigate Don Lemon. Okay. All right. It seems like in America, you should be allowed to just go and yell at somebody, whatever. But I go, no, it's wrong because it's in a church. Fuck you. Your president has never been inside a church. He will burst into flames if he... Trump doesn't go to church. I can't say that enough. Trump does not go to church. Trump is not religious. Trump has duped a bunch of Christians into thinking that he is Christian. So whatever. So let's stop pretending like there's some widely held sanctity of the chapel, in this administration. There's not. They don't give a fuck. If they had to kick in a church to do something, they would absolutely do it. And that's not what happened here. This was just a bunch of citizens who were riled up by Don Lemon. And it's a stunt. He got these people together and they did it and they filmed it and it turned into a whole thing. Anyway, there is a news story that is breaking this morning. A judge has, out of hand, rejected the Department of Justice's initial attempt to bring charges against Don Lemon. So there you have it. The Department of Justice wants to bring charges. They want to bring charges against Don Lemon. Trump's out here pardoning drug dealers and the corrupt children of MAGA Republican senators and all of this stuff. But no, we got to put Don Lemon is the one we need to prosecute. Fuck Don Lemon. Anyway, a judge up there has rejected the Justice Department's initial attempt to bring charges against Don Lemon. It says here, a federal magistrate judge, not even local, a federal magistrate judge rejected the Justice Department's initial attempt to bring charges against journalist Don Lemon for appearing alongside protesters who breached a Minnesota church over the weekend. The Attorney General is enraged at the magistrate judge's decision. Yeah, Pam Biondi's mad that this isn't a judge that's in her pocket. But honestly, looking at all of the court cases here, they ain't got no federal judges in their pocket. There ain't no federal judges so far in any jurisdiction, and they ain't all liberal. I know that the clean slate that the judges created in Chicago, right? I guess. They were female. One was a female black judge, so I guess she's in the liberal category. She's also a fucking judge and a federal judge who has to go according to the law. So what happened in Chicago was, remember when Chicago was Minneapolis just like a couple of months ago? And they were moving in troops because Chicago's neighborhoods were rising up so much and it was really turning into a thing. And then the judge in the Illinois Northern District said that everything Bovino was doing was against the Constitution. Remember that? That's what happened. That's why they're not in Chicago anymore. That's why they moved on to Minneapolis. They lost every fucking court case in Chicago or in Illinois or wherever in this federal circuit district. Every fucking court case they lost. And what did they do? They picked up their stakes and they moved on to another place. And they moved on to Minnesota. And this is what they've been doing up there ever since. And now they're losing court cases there. Not local municipal judges, not people who are libtard lefties who are, associated with the libtard lefty state. No, these are federal judges work in the federal system. And even they're going, you're out of fucking line, Pam Biondi. Oh, here's another thing. By the way, he won. He won. Trump won. Just so you know, Trump won. And what did he win? Well, he won the contest to get us to all stop asking about Epstein. He won that because we ain't doing that anymore. Oh, no. No, he's kicking indoors in Minneapolis. We're all distracted by that. He's trying to invade Greenland. No, we're all distracted by that. He's making shitheel crazy speeches at Davos. Oh no, we're all distracted by that. He won. Epstein's done. Epstein's out of the news cycle. It'll perkle up every now and again, and someone will be like, "Hey, what about Epstein?" But no, he won. He won because we're humans, and hashtag never forget. No, we always forget. Hashtag always forget. We always move on. We go, here's what the people who are demanding information on the Epstein files are going through right now. We demand. He's like, I'm going to tell you everything, and we're going to expose this cabal of pedophiles. And they're like, yeah, that's why we love you. And then he wins. They give the vote. He wins. And he's like, I'm going to protect my friends. And they're all like, what? Hey, wait a second. Hey, wait a second. And then he's like, hey, be distracted by libtards with skateboards flown in by Soros, who's being mean to ICE officers. And then all of the dumb fucking middle, who absolutely their one singular issue was getting to the bottom of the Epstein files, they're now off that. Now you've got people out there doing shit like this. Well, there's a difference between having sex with a 12-year-old girl and a 5-year-old. One's worse. That's what they moved on to. They've won. We've forgotten. Pedophiles are protected. Don't ever fucking complain about it again. Don't ever get your loud ass right-wing fucking mouth going about how the government is hiding shit for them, because you are the ones that the rest of us counted on to holding these people's feet to the fire, and you have caved. MAGA has caved. They don't give a shit about Epstein anymore. And the ones who are still calling for it are being marginalized. Because now you've got Megyn Kelly going on TV, or TV, whatever it is she's doing, and saying exactly what I just said. He was having sex with 14-year-olds, guys. That's okay. When I was a 14-year-old Megyn Kelly, my boyfriend was 48 years old. It's totally normal. Normal. Normalizing the absurd is how this shit continues. And we're doing it. We're really good at it. New polling numbers have been released as well. President Trump is now officially the lowest rated president of all time. The lowest approval rating of all time. Quinnipiac put out a survey here. He is at 33%. 33% approval rating and sinking. But he just told us that he made a deal with Greenland. He didn't. It's the framework of a deal. They're not even talking about the deal. But he announced that, he won the Greenland thing. So I imagine his polling numbers will go up now. Because he announced that, well, Greenland's fixed. I fixed it. And then you read the story from the BBC and you're like, there is no agreement. They had a meeting. It was a pleasant meeting. And that's where we are. I don't want to do Trump's Board of Peace. I got the Trump Board of Peace story here. I can't. Trump is trying to create his own organization that is more powerful than the UN. And he is reaching out to all the world's leaders, and he is offering all the world's leaders a seat on the Board of Peace. All they got to do is pay him $1 billion. To Trump. It's $1 billion to Trump. Well, I'm sure it goes into the Board of Peace Fund, which I think Eric will probably have the debit card for. The UN Security Council, we don't like them anymore. We should just start a whole new thing. We'll call it the Board of Peace. Oh, okay. That sounds good. It's going to cost you $1 billion to be on my Board of Peace. Oh. Hey, but not everybody is saying no. Most normal countries are saying no. But we got Turkey on board. Erdogan, he's going to give $1 billion to Trump. We got Orban. We got Orban in Hungary. He's on board. We got him. We got the guy in Belarus, the Belarusian guy who is Putin's right-hand guy. He's on board. He's going to get $3 billion. Trump's board of peace is him, a dude from Turkey, Hungary, and Belarus. Very good. Nice start. Why are they paying it? Because they want access. They want to be one of Trump's buddies. They want to be in his board of peace club. Here's what it says, quoting now. It says, if you sign up for the board of peace, you will be aligning yourself with Trump's vision, who worked closely on Middle East peace negotiations during his decade as an American diplomat. What? Hold on. If you sign, here's a quote. Okay, I skipped that. All right. If you sign up for the board of peace, you will be aligning yourself with Trump's vision, said Miller, who worked closely on Middle East peace negotiations during his decades as an American diplomat. I don't think they're talking about Stephen Miller here. Adding $1 billion entry fee, as if this is getting a seasonal membership at Mar-a-Lago, has created the sense among European leaders that this is not serious. How you think? Macron's like, yeah, I'm not. Starmer over there in the UK, they're like, yeah, no. Germany's like, Even Putin's like, no. But that's okay, because Trump will waive the $1 billion fee for Putin. Yeah, no, those people, they're out of it. They're not interested. Oh, also, Saudi Crown Prince, of course, he dropped a bill. What do they call it? Was a yard? Is that what it's called in finance terms? Yeah, Saudi Arabian dude, he dropped a yard. That's so $4 billion. Trump has $4 billion committed for this board of peace. And again, never forget, peace in this country is going to be brought to us by Donald Trump, Viktor Orban, Erdogan in Turkey, and whoever Putin's lackey in Belarus is. That's the new board of peace. Oh, and Saudi Arabia, too. They're involved. Because everything Trump does from here on out is going to include his new best friend, the Saudi royal family. Ted Cruz is in the barrel because he flew off to Southern California last night. We've got this picture of Ted Cruz flying. What's Cruz fluff? Cruz flying coach? Well, he is very frugal, I suppose. Here's a picture from last night. There you go. There's Ted Cruz. He's getting on a plane bound for Laguna, California. Boy, Laguna just sounds warm, doesn't it? Yeah, there's a huge Arctic snowstorm coming to Texas, so Ted Cruz is getting on a plane and leaving town as quick as he can, because we know that Ted Cruz, with that all-American Cuban blood, he doesn't like being down in cold weather. So he's out, just like he did with Cancun. Remember this? This is why it's a bad look for him. This is why this fucking moron should have canceled his trip to Southern California. Don't even know what this is. Is this official business, or is he just going to check into a hotel randomly and hire a prostitute? Because that's what these guys do. Sometimes they go on these business trips and really they're just flying to Cleveland to get a prostitute. I'm not kidding. That is something these people do. Anyway, I don't know why he's flying to Southern California. He's flying to Southern California, and it's a bad look because he knows there's an ice storm coming, and he did it anyway because these people do not give a fuck anymore about optics. They just don't. They can explain. They realize now that any bad optic can be explained away with bullshit, because the people that they need to stay on their side have proven that they will swallow endless amounts of bullshit. So that's why he doesn't even care. He's like, whatever, it's fucking cold. I'm going to go to Southern California. Now, his office, of course, says there's an absolutely reasonable explanation for this, and it has nothing to do, and he's going to be back. Oh, yeah, he's coming back. He's coming back before the... Here, where is it? Sorry, wanted to show this. Let me read you the statement from Ted Cruz's office on this incredibly bad look. Ted Cruz bites back at critics who are furious over his leaving Texas ahead of a major storm. Senator Ted Cruz pushed back on critics pouncing on him over an image of the senator on a plane to California just a day before Texas is set to get hit by a major winter storm. Here's a quote now from Shay Jordan. I don't know who that political strategist Shay Jordan. Okay, this is a spokesperson for Ted Cruz. That's who Shay Jordan is. Senator Ted Cruz was spotted earlier today, January 20th, on a plane heading to Laguna Beach as the state of Texas braces for a rare ice threat and Arctic cold front, political strategist Shay Jordan wrote on X. Oh, so that's not the spokesperson for Ted Cruz. Oh, she's the person who put the picture up that made it go viral. Okay, we got it. Included was an image of Cruz on his flight. The post itself has more than 8 million views as of Thursday. We just showed you that. Cruz's office later put out a statement dismissing criticism. Of course they do. We can't do anything wrong. I'm going to dismiss that criticism of us because obviously we never do anything wrong. Cruz's office later put out a statement dismissing criticism and explaining that Cruz was on a pre-planned trip. It's always a pre-planned trip. And he'll actually be returning to the Lone Star State before the storm is projected to hit. Senator Cruz is currently on a pre-planned work travel that was scheduled weeks in advance. He'll be back in Texas before the storm is projected to hit, a spokesperson for the senator said. Okay. Is he back? Because when's he going to be back? Because I bet, because I live in the Midwest and I have traveled during the winter, I bet his flight is going to be canceled into wherever it is he's flying into because of the storm. He knows what he's doing. The only thing different that he did this time in this planned trip to escape bad weather, to abandon the people of his state when they're at their worst. The only thing he did differently this time was I guess he's got a return flight booked for before the flight. So now, but he's got the excuse also. Well, I booked it. I was supposed to come back before, but the storm, it moves so quick. This is all just another shell game by these people. A responsible and reasonable senator, certainly one who has the nickname of Cancun Ted because of what he did during the last thing, a reasonable person would look at the optics of this and say, I'm just not going to give this to him. We're going to cancel my flight. We got bad weather coming. I'm going to stay in the state. We'll cancel my flight. That'll look good. Blah, blah, blah. No, not this guy. No, these guys are just like, I want to go to Southern California. So he's going anyway. All right, very good. That's your guy. That's your guy that you re-elect and re-elect and re-elect. And okay. That's your guy. The guy who President Trump said, your wife is ugly. And he was like, hey, you can't say that about my wife. And now he's, you're right, President Trump. She is ugly. That's your guy. That's your guy. Now, me, I don't claim to be alpha because I think that's one of the gayest fucking thing that's going on. Really? You're trying that hard to be a man? Most of us are just men. Most of us are just who we are. You're really trying hard there, little Andrew Tate III. Forgot what I was saying. Anyway, so pissed off. This guy, Ted Cruz, whatever. All right. We are here. Let's do this. This will be fun. So I looked into this. I was looking at some videos of Dallas-Fort Worth snow on YouTube, and I realized that one of my great complaints, but it's not even a complaint. It's actually something that I enjoy, is that Texans, and I've lived in Texas since early October 2001. I've been back and forth between Chicago and Texas, but I have essentially, I've got a familiarity, if you will. One of the things that I've always enjoyed, and my partner Kelly enjoyed too, was what happens when the ices freeze in Texas. It's just because there is no respect for winter weather among Texas drivers. They just don't. They're just like, what? I don't have to slow down. Everything's fine right now, right? And so crazy shit happens. First winter we were there, we were just absolutely dazzled by what seems to be a fairly regular practice of news teams setting up a zombie camera on a particularly dangerous stretch of road in Dallas-Fort Worth, and then just recording people sliding into each other. We love that. Now, the first time I saw that on like WFAA at 10 o'clock, like, let's go to our WFAA cam. It's at Beltline Road and Marsh Avenue in Addison, and just cars coming down a hill, sliding through the intersection, slamming into each other, and the news camera just filming it all. To which I remember my partner Kelly saying the first time she saw it, Wouldn't it be better if they had somebody, maybe a sign that said, be careful? But no, they don't want you to be careful. They are there to capture with their camera the mayhem. I love that. I love that. So here, let's go through this. Here's what I found, okay? I thought this was fun. Here are some general tips for driving in ice and snow for the uninitiated. All right, here we go. By the way, my kid's 16 years old. He's been driving for, I don't know, like 6 months now or something like that. He got to try his hand at snow driving. Because we had a blizzard when he was up here visiting me over Christmas. We had a blizzard, and I'm like, dude, this is a rare opportunity. I'm gonna teach you how to counter steer. We're gonna learn how to do fishtails in an empty parking lot. Oh, it's gonna be fun. So he's got a little experience. He knows the instinctive, that you got to turn into the skid. People don't know this. You don't pump the brakes. If you're in a skid, get your feet off the brakes. Okay, your instinct is to slam on the brake. Take your foot off the brake. Brake is not going to help you. It's only going to cause problems, and a brake is how you end up going end over end. Do not hit the brake if you're in a skid. Pump the brake. Pump the brakes. Don't fucking lay on the brake. All right, here you go. Here are some general tips for those of my friends down there who are maybe going to be experiencing something in the next couple hours that they're not all that accustomed to. First, the most important thing, and I got to tell you this, Texas, slow the fuck down, okay? You got to slow the fuck down. I know it says 55, and I know normally you drive 75 in the 55, but it says 55, and today with the ice and snow, you got to do about 25, 30. I know it sucks, but do you want to get home? Or you'll get home. Do you want to dent your car? Because that's really what's going to happen. You'll dent the car will start to slide, and you'll be into a guardrail. You'll be able to continue driving home, but your car's fucked up. Not every one of these is to stop you from dying. Some of them are just stop you from fucking up your car. All right, so slow the fuck down. That's tip number one. Also, increase your follow distance. What is your follow distance? I guess we're taught in driver's ed 2 seconds, right? Keep a 2-second follow, which means, you find a marker on the road. If there's a car in front of you, you see a marker on the road. And when that car passes that marker, you count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. You should be at that marker at 2 Mississippi. That's 2-second following distance. That is what you're supposed to do. That's what we learn in driver's ed. 10-second following distance. Are you hearing me? It goes from 2-second following distance to 10-second following distance. Do not be on somebody's ass, because if that person has to stop, you are going to collide with them. You are not going to be able to stop. 10-second following distance. 10-second gives you a couple of things. One, you're just going to naturally slow down as long as you take your foot off the gas. Secondly, 10 seconds gives you enough time to maybe look at the other lane, to ditch out of the way, to do all kinds of things. When you only have 2 seconds of time, you're fucked. You're going to fuck up your car. Again, all of this isn't to save your life. Most of this is just don't fuck up your car. You're going to fuck up your car. You get a big scratch on it. You'll break your side window. You'll fuck up your axle. These are tips to, simple tips. Be gentle, it says here. So we've got slow down, increase your following distance, and be gentle. All inputs, be gentle. This is important. Whether you're accelerating, whether you're braking, and especially with your steering, okay? Can't do it. You can't fucking just jerk the wheel, because the tires will not get traction and you'll just slide, okay? So it's all small, gradual turns. Gas, slow acceleration. Why? Because your wheels are going to spin. You want your tires to grip the road. And if you're giving it too much acceleration, you're just going to... And that's how you start the fishtail, and that's how you lose control. Slow, measured acceleration and braking. Says here, this one, avoid the brakes. Just avoid the brakes when possible. If you are driving in ice and snow, and if you are sliding around, if you've got experience with a boat, that's good. It's very much like riding or piloting a boat on the water. You're not using brakes. There are no brakes to be used. So you have to be more anticipatory. Avoid brakes. Use lower gears is another one that they suggest here. Let's see here. You must figure out a way to slow your vehicle down without relying on your brakes. Yeah, and that speaks to the 10-second following distance and all of that stuff. Okay, these are all things. I had the benefit of taking driver's ed class in January. So my 8-week driver's ed took me all through winter. So all of the course of study that I had in driver's ed was how to drive in winter and snow and all that stuff. Let's see here. Never use cruise control. This is a real important one. Even if it looks like it's all right, but if there are ice warnings or whatever on the road and you're just, you're driving from Dallas to Waco every day and you're like, I just put it in cruise control. Do not use cruise control when there's ice on the road. Cruise control with ice on the road will cause you to go into a ditch because the cruise control will try to accelerate like it does, over hills or whatever. The cruise control will try to accelerate at some point on ice. The wheels will spin and then it will hit actual road and your car will veer and you'll go into a spin. Do not use cruise control when you're driving in ice. It's incredibly dangerous. And of course, plan ahead. It says plan ahead. Watch for potential hazards. Be able to see as far in front of you as possible. Now we get into the skid. What do you do if you have a skid, right? Your instinct is going to be to steer out of the skid. That is what you're going to do instinctively. Don't do that. It's called counter steering. You need to steer into the skid, okay? So whatever direction your tires are fishtailing, you need to turn the wheel that direction. As a little tip for you, you're going to try and go the other way because it seems like that makes sense, but that is not how you right a spin. You steer into it. Steer into the skid. If the rear of the car slides to the right, steer to the right. There you go. That's how you straighten it out. I know it seems counterintuitive, but follow these. Oh, and then it says there's a note. After you steer into the skid, then be prepared to counter steer again. I'll read this whole thing as they've got it here. Steer into the skid. If the rear of the car slides to the right, steer to the right. If the rear of the car slides to the left, steer to the left. But be ready to counter steer once again as traction returns and the car straightens out. You will need to gently steer the wheel back to the center to avoid fishtailing anymore. There you go. There you go. There are some tips. Here's what I would say are the most important tips there. Most important tips for driving in this kind of weather. These are everything else, counter steering, that comes with practice. You got to teach yourself again to be counterintuitive there. The most important things: slow the fuck down and following distance. Okay, that's it. Slow down. You're going to go a good 20 or 30 miles per hour slower than you normally would on the roads that you use every day, and you're going to increase your following distance from 2 seconds to 10 seconds. You're welcome, and you should get home. Should get home safely. Let's see. What else do we have here? We got the ice storm. We got Ted Cruz. We got the tips. You guys, oh my God. I have something I got to do today after the show. So I definitely need to be off the air by a certain time, but there's a story here that I really want to get into. There's actually a bunch of stories here that I want to get into, but I'm looking at time and I don't know how much time I'm going to have. I am following. I started following this. It feels like years ago, and then I lost interest. And now they're roping in all kinds of big celebrities, and text messages are being revealed. Do you guys know about this ongoing Hollywood drama between Blake Lively and this guy Justin Baldoni? It's been going on forever. Apparently, they made some movie together, and she wasn't happy with the movie or the way she was treated by this Justin Baldoni, who is an interesting guy. His name is everywhere, so we're like, yeah, he's a famous actor. No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. He was on like some CW series, and somehow somehow some dude, Justin Baldoni, who was just on like a CW series, Jane the Virgin, right? Nobody knows that show. This guy was on that show. It's not even like he was like a cast member of Friends. You know, if a cast member of Friends went on to do what this guy did, you'd go, well, that's obvious because they made like $2 million an episode, but not the guy that was on Jane the Virgin. How did he, and here's my question, scrape up all of this money to bankroll a film starring him and Blake Lively? He cast himself as the star. He's the writer, he's the director, and he owns the production company that put it out. And it was a big hit. It made $350 million at the box office on like a $50 million budget. So it was I've never heard of it. I mean, it looks like, but in all fairness, there are a crap ton of movies that every week has a number one movie, you know? So that used to mean something, like number one movie at the box office because the numbers were so spectacular, but now hardly anybody goes to the movies anymore. And, you know, it's very rare. I get excited about new movies on Netflix now. I don't get excited about movies at theaters. So anyway, this movie did well at the theaters. And when it was over, apparently Blake Lively accused this Justin Baldoni guy, who was the star, writer, director, and producer. Blake Lively accused him of sexual harassment and, you know, just being really mean on the set. And she also accused him of being a part of a cult and, you know, all of this stuff. It just got really ugly. But the movie was making bank. So, you know, they started suing each other. She sued him for sexual harassment on the set. He countersued her and the New York Times for putting out anti-Justin Baldoni stuff in the press through a press agent and all. It's a big mess. Anyway, it's been going on for a long time. Well, it's in trial now, and they're kind of sorting through all of this nonsense. And what we've got now is an unveiling in court yesterday of all of these private text messages between Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds. See, here's the thing about Blake Lively. You'd be wondering, why is Blake Lively getting all this attention? She is a nothing. She's a nothing. Blake Lively is a D-list actress. Blake Lively, again, was on another like WB show or whatever. What the fuck show did she come from? I don't know. Here's what I know about Blake Lively. She's beautiful. And she is a beautiful, completely forgettable actress. You know, I'm sorry. She's not Meryl Streep, right? She doesn't have the heat factor of Sydney Sweeney. She's also an actress, but Blake Lively is not in that tier. But see, she is in that tier. She is in that tier because she's married to Ryan Reynolds, who is one of the most powerful people in Hollywood. So that's why this story has sort of gotten this outsized attention, right? If you were just looking at it going, fucking somebody from a WB show is in a fight with somebody from a CW show about a movie they made that I didn't see, right? You would think, why is this a thing? Well, because Ryan Reynolds is involved. And apparently throughout the course of Blake Lively trying to punish Justin Baldoni, which is what she was doing, she was trying to turn his name into mud in California, in Hollywood. And she was using, you know, the world that Blake Lively finds her in, not because she's, again, Sydney Sweeney or Demi Moore or Angelina Jolie. No, she finds herself with access to this world because she's married to fucking Ryan Reynolds. That's why. So what Blake Lively did in her attempt to make Justin Baldoni look bad was she reached out to all of her super powerful friends. And she's got a lot of super powerful friends. Taylor Swift is like one of her best friends. So, you know, she's rallying the troops. Justin is an asshole. Don't like Justin. Don't be friends with Justin. You know, that it was like that kind of thing. So all of these text messages have been revealed. And let's go through some of them, shall we? These are private text conversations between Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Some of these are all right, Rob. Hey, Rob Barr, I don't know if he's listening. Rob just sent me a text. That's fine because I got to run out of here today too. We'll get at it, Rob. Rob just sent me a text. So these are text messages between the most famous woman in the world, Taylor Swift, and one of her besties, Blake Lively. Blake Lively's super famous A-list Hollywood megastar husband, Ryan Reynolds. and Ryan Reynolds' buddies, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and their wives, Jennifer, who was it, Jennifer Lopez at the time, and whoever Matt Damon's wife is. Anyway, so Blake Lively is reaching out to all of these people, trying to get, the strength of Hollywood on her side in her fight against this Justin Baldoni guy. Again, a guy who has no explanation as to why he has the power he has. The guy came from a show called Jane the Virgin, and he is the star, the writer, the director, and the owner of the production company that is producing this major Hollywood film that will go on to make $350 million. None of it makes sense on his side. I don't know where that guy came from. Again, he wasn't a big star who then went, I'm going to step away from the camera and I'm going to start making films and I'm going to start a production company. No, just all of a sudden this guy from Jane the Virgin has funding for like a major, so I don't know where the money came from, but whatever. And on this set, he brings in Blake Lively to play the love interest. By the way, these two had to make out and shit throughout the whole movie. I guess it's about abuse, an abusive relationship or something. So anyway, let's get into this story because I want to go through some of these text messages because I have to tell you. I have a take on these text messages that you may not anticipate me having. Here are the explosive texts Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds allegedly sent celebrities like Taylor Swift, Ben Affleck, excuse me, and Matt Damon amid battles with Justin Baldoni. At one point among the legal battle, Taylor allegedly told Blake, all right, you know what? I don't want to do that. I don't want to bury the lead. I want to give you the actual text messages. New court documents have revealed a host of new court documents have. You know what? Here, we'll show you the pictures of these people. Why not? They're Hollywood people, so we want to show the pictures. All right, here you go. Blake Lively. God, Blake Lively's really beautiful. She's really beautiful. I don't know if she has any acting talent, but she's beautiful. Got to give her that. Hold on. Trying to pull something up here. All right, so there you go. That's Blake and Ryan Reynolds that you're looking at there. New court documents have revealed a host of alleged text messages sent between Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and their celebrity friends amid the Justin Baldoni legal battle. To quickly recap, Blake sued her It Ends With Us. That's the name of the movie. Blake sued her It Ends With Us co-star and director, Justin, in December of 2024, alleging sexual harassment and retaliation. She also accused both Justin and his production company, Wayfarer Studios, of attempting to destroy her reputation by engaging in social manipulation campaigns. So what she's saying is, the movie wraps, she's like, I'm going to sue him because he sexually harassed me or whatever. And the movie becomes a hit. The movie made $350 million. What? If she'd have kept her mouth shut, she might have gotten back-end points on a sequel. But no, there's not going to be any sequel, I guess, between these two. It says, by the way, a sequel? Who wouldn't watch that? I'll fucking go to the movies to see what these two get back. You know what I mean? They're like hating each other. Let's see what... Justin strongly denied allegations and countersued Blake with a $400 million lawsuit against her and her husband, Ryan Reynolds. Blake's suit against Justin and Wayfarer Studios is ongoing. And ahead of a hearing scheduled for January 22nd, new court documents revealed a bunch of explosive texts that have been partially unsealed. So these are the text messages. All right, let's see here. Hold on. Oh, here, we'll show you more pictures. We don't just need to see these people. All right, so here's this is Justin and this is Blake. Apparently, this is from the movie. Here you go. There she is. She's so pretty. She's really pretty. She's really pretty. And I gotta tell you, well, you know what? I'm not gonna say anything. We'll just wait. Wait till I read you. All right, there she is with Taylor Swift, right? See them at Chiefs games. Taylor would bring her buddy Blake to Chiefs games. A couple of smoke show chicks. All right, there's Taylor. Is any more? Oh, here's more of Blake and her best friend Taylor, right? Okay, hold on. All right, so now let me get into the story more. It is alleged in the court documents that Blake urged several of her famous friends, including Matt Damon, Lucy Damon, Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez, Bradley Cooper, and Taylor Swift to support her version of the film over Justin's. So I guess what she was suing about, she had some thoughts on the finished product of the film, and before it was released, she was, I guess is that the backdrop of this whole thing? She's like, hey, I made some script changes to the movie. I'd like you to use them. And he said, no, I'm Justin. I'm the writer, producer, director, star. I will not do your version. And then she went, oh, okay. Well, you sexually harassed me. I mean, like, what is, because it seems here in these letters, these notes, these texts to her mega A-list friends, it seems here that she is, I don't know, trying to get them to like this is a business thing. It's not anything to do with sexual harassment. It's, please, A-listers, support my version of the film before it's released. Like, that's what she's doing in these text messages. So I don't know. It is alleged in court documents that Blake urged several of her famous friends, including Matt Damon, Lucy Damon, Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez, Bradley Cooper, and Taylor Swift, to support her version of the film over Justin's. And so, perhaps expectedly, many of the alleged texts that were unsealed are between Blake and Taylor, who was previously named by Blake's legal team as a potential witness in the lawsuit. All right. Taylor's rep has publicly denied that the singer had any involvement in the legal battle, writing in a statement, Taylor Swift never set foot on the set of this movie. She was not involved in any casting or creative decisions. She did not score the film. She never saw an edit or made any notes on the film. She did not even see It Ends With Us until weeks after its public release, and was traveling around the globe during the 2023 and 2024, headlining the biggest tour in history. That's her publicist. A little Trumpian at the end there, right? Like, at first it's just like, look, Taylor has nothing to do with this. She had nothing to do with the movie because she was headlining the biggest tour in history. That's very Trumpian. According to new documents, which have been viewed by BuzzFeed, Blake sent a text to Taylor asking her to endorse her revised It Ends With Us script, allegedly adding, here's what she said to Taylor, you don't have to read, of course. Explaining the text in her deposition, Blake said, here's what she said about it. Because again, that looks bad that she sends her friend Taylor Swift. She says, look, here's a copy of the script. I want you to support my version of my copy. And then she said, you don't even have to read it. Like, the suggestion there being that it's not about the actual content in the script being better. She is just leaning on friendships for unwavering support. And she's asking Taylor, you don't have to read it. But bottom line, you've got to say mine is better, right? So that's kind of the allegation there. Here's what she said about it. She said, I sent Taylor the script on her way to my apartment because Justin was still there. And I asked her to read the notes. I told her that she didn't have to. I didn't want her to feel pressured to do that, but I hoped that she would. Regardless, Taylor allegedly replied, I'll do anything for you. So this is just two friends. And by the way, this isn't for public consumption. It was never intended to be for public consumption. It's private texting between Taylor Swift and her friend. It's only been revealed because of this crazy lawsuit, so now we see it. But here's what we do see. We do actually see a window into what Blake Lively and Taylor Swift's relationship really is. And guess what? I'm sorry. I know a lot of you are programmed to hate her. Guess what? It seems like Taylor Swift is a really good friend. Seems like she is a really nice person who is willing to help their friends out. She responds, I'll do anything for you. That's fucking nice. That's like nice above nice. You know, my friend sends me something like that. I'm like, oh, what the fuck are you asking me to do now? That's how I respond. I don't know, maybe girls are different. But anyway, I was impressed by that. And it's not the end. It is not the end. All right, you know what? I'm just going to come out and tell you because we're getting into these text messages. These text messages between these people, they seem like the loveliest people. There's no horrifying, oh, hey, when you come over for the child sex party this weekend, No, they seem like nice people who are willing to support one another. There's more. I'll read them. That's just the first example of Taylor Swift being like, I'll do anything for you. You're my girl. Doesn't really sound like the monster we're supposed to think she is. And let me tell you, I know a lot of people who are way into Taylor Swift. There's never been an example of anything where I've gone, God, she seems like a fucking cunt. That fucking bitch. I don't understand why people hate her. I mean, I'm not a particular fan of her music or anything like that. I'm not supposed to be. But what are we hating on Taylor Swift for exactly? What did she do that is so reprehensible? Again, she sends back to her friend, her, by the way, far less famous friend. This is like Taylor's here and Blake Lively's like, who's Blake Lively again? Like, everybody knows who Taylor Swift is. But when you say Blake Lively, like, wait, okay, which one is she? Is she from the Hills or is she an actress? So Taylor says, I'll do anything for you. Blake also allegedly referred to Justin as this doofus director of my movie and referred to him as a clown who thinks he's a writer now in her text to Taylor. Taylor didn't respond to any of that. Taylor wasn't like, oh yeah, he sounds like a real asshole. No, Taylor doesn't. Even in her private moment, she's not a catty bitch. No, Taylor allegedly told Blake, or not allegedly in the text, Taylor told Blake via text that in her opinion, Justin. So now remember, Blake was being petty. Remember, Blake to Taylor is like, this guy is such a doofus. He thinks he's a writer now. He's ruining my movie. Taylor Swift didn't bite on any of that. Listen to how Taylor fucking Swift responds to her friend ranting about being mistreated by somebody else. Taylor wrote via text that in her opinion, Justin didn't seem to be very strategic because he allowed for the use of her song, My Tears Ricochet, to appear in the film It Ends With Us. She said, this is what Taylor said. If Justin was strategic, he'd be like, no Taylor Swift in the trailer. Because, see, then that gives you more power over the film. That's your ally, not his. Taylor is advising her that she, as her friend, should have used the power that Taylor Swift has because Taylor is Blake's friend. Taylor is not... If there's a Taylor Swift song that could really help the soundtrack for this film, the producers, Justin and Wayfair, would love to have that Taylor Swift song in there. Right? It would help the soundtrack. So what Taylor is now advising Blake is become the gatekeeper of my song. Justin, I don't think he's a very strategic thinking guy because he doesn't recognize that the only way he gets my song is through you. That's Taylor's advice to her friend. That is not only really good advice from a friend who is actually engaged in what you're going through, but that shows that Taylor Swift ain't a fucking idiot. Taylor Swift is fucking smart. Taylor Swift looks at all of this stuff and fucking the business mind goes in. I think everything that we are programmed to think about this girl is incorrect based on these texts, private texts between her and her friend. That's impressive. I'm impressed with that being the response. She didn't take the bait on he's a clown or a doofus who thinks he can write. No, Taylor Swift responded with, here's strategically how you beat him. Fuck, I'm impressed, man. I'm very impressed. I opened this story last night expecting to read, oh, good, I'm going to get to make fun of these fucking Hollywood clowns. Meanwhile, Taylor Swift is acting like everything she presents to be. Unbelievable. In a message sent in December of, I don't know why it says alleged here. These are released through court, but whatever. In a message sent in December of 2024, Taylor Swift purportedly texted Blake, I think this bitch knows something is coming because he's gotten out his tiny violin. Alongside a link to a People article about Justin opening up about allegedly being sexually traumatized by an ex-girlfriend. Taylor Swift is just like thumbing through something and she sees her friend's adversary being profiled in People. And again, the adversary has been The New York Times went after him. Everybody seems to be taking Blake Lively's side of this argument. So Justin Baldoni goes to People magazine and he tries to get a tearjerker article about how he was supposedly molested or whatever. And Taylor Swift sees that, sends it to her friend and goes, look at him. He knows he's losing. He's getting out his tiny violin. I love that. So she's not just this nice, she's got fucking teeth too. She is fucking business minded. She is a good friend and she has got a little darkness to her. Tiny violin. Let's see here. She tested that Justin opening up about allegedly being sexually traumatized by an ex-girlfriend. Taylor described it as he knows he's losing. He's pulling out his tiny violin. That's fucking cool. I like it. Justin's team alleged that this message referred to the release of the New York Times "We Can Bury Anyone" article, which came out on December 21st and unveiled details of Blake's initial lawsuit. All right, so that's why Justin Baldoni sued the New York Times, because December 21st of 2024, they put out an article about how horrible he is, and he says that was at the behest of Blake Lively and this Hollywood cabal of power brokers that she's not even a part of, she just married into. Elsewhere in the unsealed texts between the pair, Blake reportedly messaged Taylor about feeling like a bad friend amid the legal battle. Blake texted Taylor, I felt like a bad friend lately because I was such a sad sack who only talked about my own shit for months, she wrote. She then continued to Taylor, you were generous to not only be the key person there for me during all this, but also to let me off the hook for being so in it. But I still have a feeling something may not be right, she wrote to Taylor. After noting that she wanted to make sure everything was fine between them, so Blake Lively's like, hey, I just wanted to apologize. I know I've been coming hot and heavy with this shit, and you've been a good friend. Are we cool? That's kind of like what Blake was sending to Taylor Swift. After noting that she wanted to make sure everything was fine between them, Taylor allegedly replied, no, you're not wrong, but it's also not a big deal. So Taylor's like, yeah, you've been a lot, but don't worry, it's not a big deal. No, you're not wrong, but it's also not a big deal. Taylor goes on to say, I think I'm just exhausted in every avenue of my life, and in recent months have been feeling just a little bit of a shift in the way that you and I communicate. Right? So Taylor's saying to her friend, hey, it's been a crazy couple of months and it has gotten a little weird between us, hasn't it? Quoting now, it says, yes, there has been a lot of the Justin stuff, but I've been through things like this before, and I know how all-consuming it is, Taylor wrote to Blake. It's more like, and I feel really bad saying anything about this because your texts have been so nice in their intent. But your last few, Taylor said to Blake, it's felt like I was reading a mass corporate email sent to 200 people. You said the word we like 18 times, and it feels awful to be in any way critical of any way of your process, what you've been going through, but I just think I miss my funny, dark, normal-speaking friend who talks to me as herself, not like, a plural unit, Taylor Swift text. She's a fucking good friend! Taylor Swift is a good friend! She sounds like a decent person. Sounds like a rational, logical, good friend. So just keep on hating on her. And I don't know why. What? She never endorsed Biden. Remember that? It was like, I think that's where it all started. As mentioned, Blake also texted fellow actors Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, and Matt's wife, Luciana, amid the legal battle, asking them to watch her edit of It Ends With Us and give them her feedback. So now Blake is reaching out to other people in the film industry because apparently she's got an edited version that she wants released to the film. And the guy who actually paid for the film, Justin, he's got his version because, he paid for it. So he's got his version and she wants her version. So now she is shopping her version to her friends in Hollywood, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, all of these people, Bradley Cooper. She's shopping. She wants them to watch it. Oh my God. I can tell you, I completely understand what this must be like for Matt Damon or Ben Affleck to have a friend in the movie business go, can you watch my new movie? And I know what this feels like because every single one of my friends with a podcast is like, will you listen to my podcast? And I'm like, oh, fuck. How long is it? It's only 2.5 hours. Oh, fuck. Fuck. So anyway, that's what she's doing. She's like asking Matt Damon, hey, if you got 2 hours, can you watch my edit of the film? So she's going around to all of her friends and she's asking them to do that. I'm writing with a zero pressure ask, she texted. This is to Ben Affleck, by the way. I'm writing with a zero pressure ask. I've just come out the other side, well, almost, of the most upsetting experience I've ever had on a movie. Think about that. Think about that. What do you do for a living? What do you do? You work in a sanitary plant? Do you think that the worst experience that she's ever had on the set of a movie is anywhere near the worst experience you've had working at the sanitary plant? I don't think so. It's fucking Hollywood, people. I was paid millions of dollars for 3 weeks to go and pretend to be somebody else, and they couldn't keep the bagels warm. Every morning, I would say, I need a warm bagel. And it was never warm. It was the worst experience on a film set. And I go, shut the fuck up. She goes on to tell Ben Affleck that it was the worst experience, the most upsetting experience I've ever had on a movie. The making of the doc of this film is going to be more interesting than the movie could ever be, she said. I ended up rewriting and restructuring the entire script. I also ended up having to direct the movie via the chaotic clown director. All right, so anyway, she's rambling in this text to Ben Affleck, trying to get Ben Affleck to watch her movie. Ben Affleck is pretty well seasoned at this point in his career. Actor, box office cornerstone. And here's the other thing that I don't think people give Ben Affleck credit for, a terrific director. Ben Affleck is a terrific movie maker. He's, before you knew who Ben Affleck was, the actor, you knew Ben Affleck, the Oscar-winning scriptwriter. I mean, Ben Affleck knows how to put a movie together. He also just happens to be a leading man, right? So she's asking this guy, Ben, please look at my movie. And he's got to be like, you know that picture, that meme of Ben Affleck where he's outside and he's just fucking looking exhausted? He's got a cigarette in his hand. That's what I imagine Ben Affleck responded to this. Anyway, she goes on to say the director was a clown. He was the director, actor, producer, financier, studio head. And then she says, yes, he was all the same person. Oh, and did I mention he and everyone else that was working on this movie is in a cult? She thinks they're all in a cult. Just because a cult sounds worse, right? He's not in a cult. What this guy Justin Baldoni is he's very devout to the Baha'i faith. You guys familiar with the Baha'i faith? We say it's a fast-growing religion. It's popping up all over the place. It's based on, Eastern. It's an Indian. It comes out of India. I'm a seeker. I know a little bit about the Baha'i faith, and I got to tell you, if I was to just go what religion do I think is most for me? Baha'i. Baha'i religion is the most for me. And I'm not going to sit here and preach why you should, Google it. Just Google, look at the Wikipedia page. Look at the tenets of this religion. It is the most normal religion on the planet. It is the only religion that I have ever seen, the Baha'i faith, which Blake is calling a cult. It's the only religion that I've ever seen that openly acknowledges that all the other religions are right. But they're right too. The Baha'i faith just essentially believes that we all believe in the same God. We're all just interpreting it differently. But it's all the same thing. That's Baha'i. That's what this guy just... And she's like, that's a different weird religion. You're all in a cult. Now, I will say this, that might explain where he gets the money for this Wayfarer Studios. Remember, I asked, how does a guy who was on Jane the Virgin, how does that guy start a film company that can produce films that are released wide and then do $350 million? How does that? Joey Tribbiani from Friends couldn't have pulled that. Well, I think it's because I think he's funded by the Baha'i religion. I do. And I think that's what she means by, and he's got a cult, because I think that's Wayfarer Studios. which is what he named his studios. Wayfarer is, it has something to do with the Baha'i religion. Something about Wayfarer or something or whatever. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, that's what I think. So she's calling it a cult to Ben Affleck. It's just the Baha'i faith. It's not a cult. It's a real religion, and they seem like good people. But anyway, we'll move on. Blake purportedly later wrote to Ben Affleck, if you have 1 hour and 58 minutes of free time, 1 hour and 50 minutes, baby, get back in the editing room. This movie needs to be 90 minutes tops. You got 1 hour and 58 minutes. If you have 1 hour and 58 minutes, Ben Affleck, of free time in the next few days, would you be willing to watch the movie and give me my ideas, or give me some ideas or notes? You can literally text me a voice memo so that you don't have to formally write thoughts. If your wife is around, I'd love their opinion also. Jennifer Lopez. He was with Jennifer Lopez at this point. I'm such a fan of Jennifer's. I've told her as much every time I've met her, and it would be an honor to have her take. All right. And then she tags it with, again, Ben Affleck. She didn't say Ben Affleck. That's for your... Again, zero pressure. I just really want this to work after all I've put into it. This movie nearly killed me, and I can think of it. She's just fucking going on. This is too long of a text. And I can think of very few people who would be as perceptive and insightful as I know you would be. Blake allegedly said, before adding, Ryan asked Matt to watch it also. Just got to get that in. Hey, Ben, Matt's doing it. Why won't you? Jesus, these two. I mean, I know they're buddies, but do you think they just like want to be tied to each other like that? Ryan called Matt, and Matt says he's going to do it. Now, you know that Matt didn't say he was going to do it. Blake's just saying that so that Ben now thinks, well, if Matt's doing it, I'll do it. I used to do that all the time. I used to, on Friday nights in high school, where you'd play that game of phone tag where you'd call everybody, try and figure out what you're doing on Friday night. I was usually the center of it all. I would call somebody and I would say, here's what I want to do. And then, that person would, either say they want to do it or they don't want to do it, or they have another suggestion. Didn't really matter, because I'd hang up with that person and then I'd call the third person and I'd say, hey, so look, so-and-so had a good idea. I put the idea on that person to the third person. Yeah, they had an idea. They want to go to this place, and I kind of agree. How do you feel? So at that point, the third person that I've involved here, they now see that it's 2 against 1, and they are more likely to go, whatever, man, we'll go whatever. So then I hang up with that person. I will call the original person back again, and I'll be like, yeah, I just talked to person 3. They want to go to so-and-so, the thing that I suggested. And then we get to go where I wanted to go. That's how it works. And that's exactly what she's doing. You should watch the movie because, Matt's watching it. She doesn't know that Matt's watching it. She just let him think that Matt's watching it. Again, zero pressure. Ryan asked Matt to watch also, so I think he's watching this weekend. Good men showing up. I'm beyond grateful for that. Also, can you believe Jason Bourne is watching my movie? That's fucking a nerdy. Is that nerdy to say to Ben Affleck? Because remember, she told him that Matt's watching it. Matt ain't watching the movie. Matt ain't watching. Ben's gonna fucking call Matt right away and go, dude, you watching this? What is this? And Matt's like, I never said I'd watch it. I just talked to Blake, and Blake said that Ryan called you and asked you to watch it. He's like, yeah, Ryan called. And we didn't really talk about the movie, though. Because Ryan, the husband, he's like, he doesn't care. Again, zero pressure. Good men. This is cringy, right? Good men showing up. I'm beyond grateful for you. Also, can you believe Jason Bourne is watching my movie? To which Ben Affleck's like, fuck. Hey, I'm Batman, motherfucker. Jason Bourne, you're bragging to me about Jason Bourne watching this movie? Matt Damon's Jason Bourne? That's what you're... I'm fucking Batman. You're asking Batman to watch the movie. What am I? Right? That's what I'd have been like. She needs to do that. Can you believe Jason Bourne is watching my movie? Blake Lively says in a text to Ben Affleck. I'll get you an autograph one day. Don't worry. Ha 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 ha. Oh, God, cringy. Cringy. Super cringy. I have no doubt that Blake Lively is super cringy. Really attractive women are often super cringy because they never get checked. Beautiful women, it's a lot like we're seeing with Trump. Like beautiful young women say stupid shit all the time. And it's like, ugh. And they just say it comfortably because they've never been checked. Nobody like this. She thinks this isn't cringy. Can you believe Jason Bourne? It's cringy. It's cringy. You're cringy. You've been a beautiful woman your whole life. Nobody has ever said, shut the fuck up, stupid. And, you know, honestly, having somebody say, shut the fuck up, stupid, actually does make you a better person. Indeed, Ryan did purportedly message Matt. Okay, so I guess Ryan Reynolds did reach out to Matt Damon. Ryan did message Matt and his wife, Lucy, saying, this is such a zero pressure ask. Why are they using the same terminology? Blake Lively used that exact same terminology in her note to Ben Affleck. Zero pressure ask. And now in a note to Matt Damon, Blake Lively's husband, Ryan Reynolds, starts out with, this is a zero pressure ask. We know how important family time is. Again, this is Ryan Reynolds on his wife's behalf, contacting Matt Damon. This is such a zero pressure ask. We know how important family time is, so no worries either way. We'd love to get your well-earned point of view. And if your girls want to see it on the big screen at B's Family and Friends screening, that's Blake's doing a family and friends screening, and he's inviting Matt Damon to bring the kids over to watch this fucking film about domestic abuse, which is weird. Hey, if you want to bring the kids to watch my wife get knocked around by this weird dude that's in a cult, come on by. And if your girls want to see it on the big screen at B's Family and Friends screening Saturday at 6 p.m., they're obviously most welcome. This movie has been one of the all-time zingers. Again, this is Ryan Reynolds writing to Matt Damon. This movie has been one of the all-time zingers on and off set. One day, we'll make a movie about the movie, and we can't wait to tell you all about it. The stories are already finding their place into the pantheon of legendary Hollywood insanity. We're about to be off for at least a year and a half, maybe two, maybe we'll never go to work again. That's how horrible the experience of being on a movie set was. We may never work again. Not because we can't, but because we don't want to, because we are very wealthy. By the way, it needs to be noted, the message that Blake Lively sent to Ben Affleck. Remember the one we read before that one? I just gave you the one between Ryan Reynolds and Matt Damon. Now, the one between Blake Lively and Ben Affleck. No response. No response. Ben Affleck's like, what the fuck is this now? What the fuck? Who is this? Blake Lively? What does she want? The fuck? Matt Damon, Jason Ball. Fuck this. Ben Affleck didn't respond. It's like, yeah, fuck that. I love it. Per the documents, Matt and Lucy ended up responding and showing support for Blake and Ryan, with Matt allegedly offering for her to direct her next movie through his and Ben's company, Artists Equity. So look at that. Matt Damon not only responded, but he said, look, because I'll give you a job directing a movie. Come direct a movie from Ben and my new film company. It could be directed by Blake Lively. Oh, it'll be great. So that's pretty good. But again, Ben Affleck did not respond. Ben Affleck's like, I'm not watching your stupid movie, Blake Lively, hot chick from the CW. I don't even know who you are. Further on in the alleged message thread, Ryan Reynolds purportedly went on to describe Justin Baldoni as a, quote, malignant vein, a sociopathic fominist. Okay, like feminist. He's a sociopathic fominist with almost no sense of boundaries or shame, Ryan Reynolds said. All right, there you have it. Honestly, the thing that I took out of that is that they seem like pretty normal people, and I really like that Ben Affleck was just like, yeah, I'm not responding to that. I am, nope, not interested. Not interested at all. Hold on. Let's see what we got here. I got to check something. Gotta check. Oh, okay. All right. Never mind. I read the message wrong with Rob. So I do got to get off the air. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to remind you that we had an executive producer today. Our executive producer today was, of course, not the first time being executive producer. He is, of course, Peter the Great. Thank you to Peter. If you want to help support the show, you drop a little something, go ahead. Let's go through quickly before we sign off. Let's go through the Oscars were announced. Let's see. We'll only go through like the big ones, movies, actor, actress, that kind of thing. There's a lot of stuff that I wanted to get into today too, but we are just running out of time, and I've got other things that I need to do. So I do apologize. Oh, I wanted to do the AI thing. Okay, we're not going to be able to get into my AI rant. That's okay. I'll do that. That'll last. Hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to find. I had so much prepared for you today. So much. I can't find it. All right, that's not going to be good. So we'll just do this. All right, here we go. Oscar nomination list, right? Let's quickly go through it. Best Picture. Was this always the case? I thought when I was growing up, Best Picture was like 4 movies. It was like 4. It was like this one, that one, this one, and that one. Now it seems no sound. How do I have no sound? Did the sound go out? No sound? When did the sound go out? There's nothing wrong there. What do you mean no sound? I just got a text that said no sound. Is it just Adam, or is anybody else hearing no sound? Watch Adam's got his thing on mute. And now he derailed the show because his shit was on mute. All right, nobody else is saying anything. I didn't touch anything. Sound, is the sound working? I can hear you. There's sound. All right, Adam, what are you doing, man? Do you have it on mute? All right, Adam just fucking tanked the show because he accidentally put it on mute. Okay. All right, very good. All right, let's go in. These are Oscar nominations. There's like 40 of them. First one, The Secret Agent. I don't know what that is. I don't care. Number 2, Marty Supreme. This is the Timothée Chalamet ping pong movie, I think. I haven't seen it. I hear it's great, but I haven't seen it, so I can't weigh in. Third nominated film for Best Picture, we've got F1. F1, Brad Pitt. That's it. I think it was just Brad Pitt in that. I loved F1. F1 is a great movie. It is not an Oscar-winning film. Frankenstein comes in next. Isn't this Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein? Yeah, I heard it was dumb. I heard it was dumb. One Battle After Another. This is Paul Thomas Anderson's incredible film about radical politics and the way it plays out here in America. One Battle After Another. This is my favorite film of the year. That movie's crazy. That movie is like just, honestly, I've always thought that there was some kind of kinship between Paul Thomas Anderson and Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino is a little bit darker, a little bit edgier, and I think Paul Thomas Anderson is a better storyteller. But this is kind of the closest thing to a Quentin Tarantino film that I think Paul Thomas Anderson has ever made, and it's terrific. One Battle After Another. I love it. Begonia is also nominated. Begonia is another film that I would say is one of the best films of the year. Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, Emma Stone. Jesse Plemons thinks that Emma Stone is an alien. You should watch it. It's really good. Begonia. I loved it. Train Dreams. Train Dreams is another one. Don't know what that is. Sinners. Sinners? I saw Sinners. Sinners was just meh. Sinners is, it's all right. It's a movie. Why the fuck is Sinners nominated for best? I don't get it. can't take that call right now. All right, Best Actor. Let's see who's nominated for Best Actor today. Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. What? Leonardo DiCaprio, One Battle After Another. Yeah. Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon. Yeah. I saw Blue Moon like 4 months ago, and I told you after seeing it, Ethan Hawke is definitely going to be nominated. Look, I loved Leonardo DiCaprio in One Battle After Another, and I love Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon. So let me just look at those two, and looking at those two performances, Ethan Hawke, Blue Moon. Ethan Hawke is so good. He plays a midget. He plays a guy. He plays a real guy who is real, who was only like 4'10", and Ethan Hawke's like a 6-foot actor. It's incredible, the acting job that Ethan Hawke does. Timothy Chalamet is nominated for Marty Supreme. He's probably going to be your winner because I think Hollywood loves him. And Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. Never heard of that movie. Don't know anything about that. I would give the award. I would give the Best Actor to Ethan Hawke. He was incredible. Best Actress, Emma Stone for Begonia. She's good. Jessie Buckley for Hamnet. Haven't seen Hamnet, but I told you about Jessie Buckley a couple of weeks back. Everything that wow, she is an actress. That's all I'll say about Jessie Buckley. I'd never heard of her before until like maybe a year or so ago. And now she's like popping up in all of these things. And she is just the one you can't take your eyes off in everything that she does. Jessie Buckley, nominated Best Actress for Hamnet. Kate Hudson for that Neil Diamond karaoke movie. No, thank you. Rose Byrne, whom I love. I love Rose Byrne. Rose Byrne nominated Best Actress for If I Had Legs, I Would Kick You. Now, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this movie's about. It's Rose Byrne. If it pops up on Netflix, I'll click on it because I love Rose Byrne. But I will say this. She won the Golden Globe, didn't she? Didn't she win the Golden Globe in this category? So let's not count her out. Wow, Rose Byrne. Rose Byrne, an Oscar winner. That would be cool. Good for her. Good for her. All right, let's see here. Best supporting actress. Tiana Taylor for One Battle After Another. She's all right. Wumi Musaku for Sinners. I guess all right. Inga Isbader Leleus for Sentimental Value. Never heard of it. Amy Madigan for Weapons. Did you guys see Weapons? Weapons is great. Amy Madigan is nominated for a Best Supporting Oscar for her work in Weapons. She was in one scene. They showed a picture of her character in a couple of scenes, but she herself was only in... That's stupid. That is stupid. Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value. I don't know what that is. I don't know what Sentimental Value is. Where's Best Supporting Actor? There we go. Best Supporting Actor. This is the last one we'll do. Delroy Lindo for Sinners. Okay. Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein. Okay. Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. Again, I don't know what this movie is. Am I going to have to see this movie? Is this going to be another one of those movies that right now I'm mocking, but like in 4 weeks I'll see it and I'll be like, dudes, Sentimental Value. Like, I don't know. Maybe. Such is life. Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another. He's good, but he's not in it enough. Sean Penn for One Battle After Another. Give that man the Oscar. This is Sean Penn's. Sean Penn is good in One Battle After Another as this super insane, corrupt, diehard American military colonel who is just going after these leftists and just fucking, he's a pervert, he's a sadist. Oh, he's good. Oh, it's a great role for Sean Penn. All right, there you go. That's all I care about. We don't need to go through any other stuff. The Oscars were announced. The full list is available out there. You can find them anywhere you want. All right. Is there anything else that we leave with? Yeah, I'm going to leave you with this today. Yeah, I can't do that story. I just don't have time for that. Ooh. All right, let me leave you with this. This is a piece of video that I saw going around last night, and I just thought, man, this is funny. This could be a video breakdown. This is video from CBS football coverage. CBS. You're looking live. I mean, if you watched football in the 80s and the 90s, you remember Brent Musburger. You're looking live at Philadelphia Veterans Stadium. You know, it's that whole thing. This is the NFL Today on CBS. I think it's probably around 1976, 1977. It's something like that. It's Brent Musburger, Irv Cross, and Pamela Brown. Pamela Brown is the CNN newswoman. You know, Pamela Brown, the CNN newswoman. Well, this is her mom. So, you know, by the way, she looks just like her. If you watch CNN and know who Pamela Brown is, you're going to see this woman who was paired with Brent Musburger, the first female to do football coverage. It's Pamela Brown's mom. What's her name? Her name was Phyllis George. Is that it? Is it Phyllis? I think it's Phyllis George. I think that's it. She was like a Miss America. And somebody at CBS went, let's put a hot chick on the football coverage. And so she was there. Anyway, here is the end of that season, okay? This is Brent Musburger signing off for another season of CBS NFL coverage, and he wants to take a moment. He wants to take a moment to thank the people that he's been working with. And again, remember, this is the first woman ever to do sports, and also one of the first black former athletes. So this is kind of an interesting hodgepodge. Let's watch this. This is, again, the end of, I think it's 77 season. I'm not sure. Brent Musburger, Irv Cross, and Phyllis George. And let's just listen to this. And know this. Brent Musburger still calls games. Brent Musburger is still a bigwig. I think he does almost exclusively Westwood One radio play-by-play now. But he's still around. Here it is.
This brings to a close certainly the most pleasant football season I have ever enjoyed. And Phyllis George, I want to tell everyone that you did a magnificent job this year. I wasn't too sure about working with a woman, folks, in coverage of football. She did a job. She's Rookie of the Year.
Thank you, Brent. Thank you very much. You know, I've had a ball. I really have. You two have been the greatest. I've said it before.
All right, now turn to the black guy and go, and you know they said former athletes were fucking idiots.
They are super, and they have cooperated with me, and I hope vice versa through this long football season. And it's kind of sad that it's coming to an end now, but hopefully we'll be back next year.
Yes, it is. And Irv, it was nice to have somebody who understood the game as well as you did. Around.
Well,
help us out.
Thanks a lot, man. But I'll tell you, it was a team effort. People in front of the cameras, of course, you see, but we had hundreds of people working behind us who did a whale of
certainly the most pleasant football season I have ever enjoyed. And Phyllis George, I want to tell everyone that you did a magnificent job this year. I wasn't too sure about working with a woman, folks, in coverage of football. She did a job. She's Rookie of the Year.
She did her job. It wasn't nearly as terrible as we all expected it to be. She didn't know dick about football, but sure is pretty to look at. Hey, and Irv, you know, I just wanted to say, I have never spent this much time around a black fella before, and it's not true what they say about you. You actually do know what you're talking about. That is great. That is great. And he's so nice about it. That is just, you know what, you were in your time. There's nothing wrong with openly wondering if a woman could actually talk football back in 1977. I mean, it's wrong by a 2026 lens because we have seen in the years since then that women have been able to do that job. But it's just so funny. He's so patronizing. You know, I just want to say that, boy, when they told me that they were putting me with a woman, I threw a fucking fit, man. I was going to walk out. I almost went over to NBC, but you're not that bad. If I'm being honest, you're not that bad. Things change, man. What you think, you know, you think Brent Musburger now in 2026 has a problem with, women in sport? I don't think so. You know why? Because he received new information and he changed his mind. He's not a flip-flopper. He's just a dude who changed with the times. I also like when she goes, and I can't wait, God willing, we come back and do this again next season. Well, they did come back and do it again next season, but they replaced you with a hot black chick named Jane Kennedy. You were replaced and Jane Kennedy was brought in. Well, do you guys remember Jane Kennedy? Oh my God. Jane Kennedy. Jane Kennedy and Janet Jackson on Different Strokes. Remember when Janet Jackson played Charlene Willis's girlfriend on Different Strokes? You have to understand where I grew up. I grew up in a segregated neighborhood. I grew up in a white Irish Catholic neighborhood on the south side, and then I moved into a suburb that was all white. Blacks weren't allowed to live where we lived. They lived a couple of towns over. My high school, I tell people this all the time. I had one black kid in my high school. One black kid, and I think he was only there for like a semester and a half. So that's the environment I was raised in. We lived in an area that just happened to have been all white. And there were no black people on TV, and black people weren't everywhere in movies. You know, it's just the environment of the time that I grew up in. Now, I lived on the south side of Chicago, so all I had to do was drive down the street and we would cross over into another neighborhood. So I knew that, you know, black people in America existed. But as a child growing up in that era, you were not exposed to African-American culture in the way that we are now. We don't even think about it now. It's just everywhere. It's pervasive. But back then it wasn't. So I say Janet Jackson as Charlene and Jane Kennedy on CBS NFL football. They are the two black women that made me go, oh, I'm attracted to black women too. I'm not ruling them out. Just in case there was anybody wondering, is he attracted? Yes. Turns out I'm not like, you know, die-hard racist or anything, because as an 8-year-old, I looked at Jane Kennedy and went, whoa, that might be the prettiest woman I've ever seen. Holy cow. Same goes for Charlene. I had a crush on Charlene. You got to understand, it's not, wasn't easy in 1979 to be 10 years old and, you know, a white kid going, yeah, I like that Janet Jackson kid from Different Strokes. She's hot. But no, those two did a lot for a guy like me to go, oh, because I wasn't really exposed to that. Hey, check it out. Frank is still fucking broken. Frank, what are you doing? Loving to hear about segregation in the North by only one party. What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck? Why did you fucking, Frank? I'm honestly, Frank, I'm trying to expand the show, and I'm trying to get away from listeners, and I shouldn't because I only have a couple, trying to get away from listeners who are predisposed to see everything according to political party. Please stop it, Frank. It is so fucking frustrating. One party. My entire life, the state of Illinois, Frank, was run by Republican governors. What are you talking about? I wasn't in Chicago, and I'm describing, I was in the suburbs which are governed by either, it was Jim Thompson at first, and then it was Jim Edgar for the rest of my life growing up. Republicans! So what fucking party are you talking about, you broken son of a... Frank's now around giving me trouble. He wasn't around when I needed Frank's expertise on the Hmong people. I thought that maybe Frank might be able to, you know, give me some information. I thought that was part of his ancestry, but maybe not. I don't know. Now Frank's being divisive again, like Elon Musk. It's all right, Frank. Frank, you weren't around all day. Nobody triggered me today. I felt I needed to go off at least once. All right, guys, that's going to do it. We are out of show. We are done. We are moving on. This is interesting. Frank says, I had black kids in my elementary school in Texas. When did Pugs grow up in the 1950s? No, Frank, shouldn't be news to you. I've talked about this. See, here's what happened. The South was forced to integrate. The South was forced to integrate, and North wasn't. The North just stayed the way they always were. Black neighborhood here, Italian neighborhood here, Irish neighborhood here, Polish neighborhood here, Jewish neighborhood here, Mexican neighborhood here. That's how the North always did it. North always did it. We stayed in our own neighborhood. We all worked together. It was all fine. We just all lived in the same neighborhoods. Trouble started when one person from a different ethnic background moved into a neighborhood where they didn't belong, and the neighborhoods regulated it, and everybody got along fine. The interesting aspect to this is that is probably through a 2026 lens troubling, because of the use of redlining and not allowing people to buy homes in neighborhoods that they want. Real problem. But what I've always found interesting about that is that the North forced the South to integrate. You would have been more likely to go to a public school in a suburb in Dallas-Fort Worth in the 1980s and find the typical high school, black, white, Mexican, all going to high school together. You wouldn't have found that in the North. The North had very well created neighborhood. That's a white high school. That's a black high school. It's another white high school. I mean, yeah. So that is an interesting aspect of, our not so distant past, that the northern states, or the federal government, I should say, because I guess it wasn't the northern states, but it was the federal government. The federal government forced integration upon the southern states, but then looked at the North and went, nah, they're fine. They're fine. Now, granted, we didn't have the situations that y'all had down there in Texas, Frank, lynchings and the Klan and shit like that. No, we did have segregated neighborhoods up here, but everybody got along. Nobody had a problem with the other one just for existing in quite the same way you Texans did. So maybe the forced integration was a result of that. The riots all took place in their own neighborhoods. We don't care. Whatever. Burn your own neighborhood down. That was the attitude back in the 1960s and 70s. So yeah, no, Frank is absolutely right. I bet you in the 1980s or 90s or whenever it was you went to school, I bet you had very integrated. Frank, you are integrated. Frank, you would not have been in my high school. I always forget that Frank's not white. Frank argues for white causes and all this, but Frank's not white. Frank's another one of these, like the Torres guy who's in charge of the Proud Boys. White supremacy. Isn't your name fucking Torres or Nick Fuentes? Nick Fuentes, the white man must rise again. Dude, you're Mexican. It's no fucking, I don't know, I don't get it. Barney says, I grew up in an all-white town in southern Oklahoma, the only such town in the country. Seemed a little weird, but I never thought much of it. For an all-white basketball team, we were very good. There you go. Well, I can tell you I went to an all-white suburb in the south suburbs of Chicago. I went to an all-white high school in the south suburbs. And we had a basketball team, and our basketball team was remarkably bad. Terrible. I imagine in 4 years of my high school basketball team won 2 or 3 games. You know why? Because they played black schools. They did. Here come the white kids. Nope. Here's what we did do well in, though. We were very good. We were regularly state champions in wrestling and baseball. And so we had our things. We had our white people sports that we were good at, wrestling and baseball. We were also national champions my junior year in flag twirling. Yeah, flag twirling. It was a big deal. They had this big, middle of the school day. They're like, all right, everybody's coming to the gymnasium. We're going to do we've got a presentation, you skip class. We're all like, oh, cool. We got one of these, right? These assemblies, these all student assemblies. And so we don't know what it's about. So we go down there and they're like, hey, our flag waving team just won the national title. And we're like, what? What is a fucking flag waving team? So we were good at that. We were good. They're the people like, literally, I think they're technically called Winter Guard. I think Winter Guard is what that's called. But we were the best in the country. And something nobody cares about. Just don't ask me about the basketball team, because our basketball team was absolutely terrible. Adam says, and then I went to, Adam says, I had 5 white kids in my grade school. I think I went to school with Elon Musk. He says, and then I went to junior high and it was closer to 50-50. Then in high school, I was finally a minority. Finally. See? Never give up, man. can always be a minority. And I think that's the message that Elon Musk is putting out there. Elon Musk is like, white people, we're going to be a minority. Let's go. All right, guys, I got nothing else to do here. I got to get off. I got to get with Rob. We got to figure out how we're going to do this music show. We've got all kinds of moving parts. It's a busy day for me. Man, I'm not going to get home till late. I got so much shit that I got to do over here. One more time, thank you to Peter the Great for sponsoring today's show. Here we go. We got that 3 o'clock hour sun coming. Look at this bullshit. 3 o'clock hour sun. I hate this. Thank you to Peter the Great. If you want to be tomorrow's executive producer or Mondays, because remember, I may not be doing a show tomorrow. It's going to go down to like, what is the temperature now? Last time we checked it, it was what, 22? All right, it's up. It's 26. 26 right now. So I didn't drop yet. It's going to drop down to like -5 as a high for tomorrow. So I don't know if we're going to do a show. I might, though. I might wake up and be like, fuck this, let's go. So we'll see. Stay tuned to my Stay tuned to my socials, Pugs Moran or Pugs and Company on my socials. Radio Misfits, too. Like, follow, subscribe, do all of that stuff. I really got to go, guys. I love you. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow, although probably not.